If you've ever been forced to exercise in the rain or other elements, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. We're back for another episode of Live Trading. We got Tim Melvin coming on, and we got 13 in the back. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. Hope you all had a great evening and enjoyed pre-market prep here this morning. We are back for another episode of Live Trading. I am your host, Ryan Faloona, and I am here, of course, with my main man, 13. 13, how are you doing here today?
I'm doing all right. Just kind of watching and seeing what's moving in the market this morning, and it looks like it's going to be the attack of the old girlfriends again.
Attack, huh? They're not even going to be nice. They're going to attack?
Yeah, they must have think I wronged them in the past.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.
Well, we'll have to cover that. Darren, good morning. Darren saying Meta 140. Darren, let me tell you something. If Meta printed 140s today, we would have an endless amount of things to talk about because it's currently 532 here today. Maybe you meant 540. We'll see. Anyway, let me know. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. And good morning, everybody else. Looks like the SPY is opening higher here, Chris. All right, let's go ahead and break it down. Let's actually just go ahead and start with the SPY. That might be a good way to do this. As mentioned here, opening at some all-time highs. Looks like yesterday that high, yeah, we're right there. Looks like we're going to open right there. We did have a pre-market all-time high here of 557.38. Kind of backed off that spot a little bit. But we are going to be opening up here at the highs. And I think the big thing for me, right, like if this is going to keep pushing up to highs on low volume, not really a whole lot we can do about that. The volume yesterday was absolutely pathetic. It was less than most half days.
Yeah.
Right? It was the entire volume yesterday was less than most half days. So just not a whole lot going on here. Probably better off looking at some individual names that have had some pretty good setups. So we've done a really good job. Shout out to the chat here. Done a really good job of coming up with other things that actually give tradable setups, both a higher price and lower price. So we're going to try and focus on that. But here we go. SPY looking a little bit higher here today, looking like we're going to open up at all-time highs. 13, you got any thoughts here on the SPY or the market in general?
Yeah, I'm just kind of holding my breath on the SPY at the moment. It did make some new all-time highs in the pre-market, but it's looking like it may start to come in a little bit. So I want to just kind of temper my expectations, see what happens in the next 20 minutes, and then we'll go from there. But it's looking like this all-time high may get a little bit weak. So we'll see.
Okay, we shall see indeed what's going on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the movers. And I will go ahead and take some stocks here from the chat. DJAF saying, thank you for the month membership gift. You're welcome. I'm not sure what that even was, but you are welcome. No problem. No problem. CT from Twitter. What about ARM Holdings, Tesla, and AMD? No concern on valuation. This is one of the things that we've kind of been talking about here as a group, as well as in the happy hour program. When is this stuff going to like at some point? Doesn't this kind of need to pull back? Like, doesn't the fundamentals, doesn't the valuation need to make sense? Because it seems out of whack right here. CT, we are still trying to figure that out ourselves. You are in good company with that. Good morning, Nick. It is great to see you here. Appreciate you joining. Let us know if you've got any of those juicy drops. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of the movers that are going on here today. And we'll break that down. We're going to start here with Longeveron. Now, when I first woke up, and I first brought up my platform, I was watching this kind of flirt with the 4 level and looking like it was going to kind of take a big run here today. I went and got a cup of coffee, came back, and the thing was printing 6s on its way to 7s. I was like, oh my goodness, Longeveron, we're setting up early here. I was actually able to scalp this for just some lunch money in the pre-market, but that's neither here nor there. Longeveron, we've seen this one a whole bunch. We've seen this one run before. Catalyst here, Longeveron shares are trading higher after the company announced that the FDA granted regenerative medicine advanced therapy designation to Lomacel B for the treatment of mild Alzheimer's disease. So getting an Alzheimer's PR there, it's definitely a mouthful. This is driving Longeveron higher, plus 117% here today. 13, we've seen this one before. What do you got on this one?
Yeah, so the whenever you get a designation like that from the FDA, it usually means there's it's really good news for the company, and it usually means that they're moving forward with the trials that if there's any left with that one. I don't know where they are with that particular drug, but it does help move their trials along, and it's going to help them at the end of their trials when they try to bring it to market. 7.7 million shares in the float. They did a reverse split back in March, which is why their float is as low as it is. They do have a really high short interest, though. So that's one of the reasons I believe we're seeing such a violent move up this morning. Now it's holding up here right now. So we are getting a bit of a bull flag, bull pennant formation here. So the next step that we want to see is to have this move up back into the sevens and break out of the pre-market high that it put in at 714. So that's going to be the next anticipated move here with Longeveron.
Okay. Real good breakdown there. A couple of things going on. First of all, Hyper Fox guy, Longeveron already booking gains. This is what I want. That's exactly the type of comment that I wanted to see here. Huge move here already. This is the phase where we should be booking gains, shouldn't necessarily be buying it up here. Now, if this consolidates a little bit, sets up, and looks like it's going to take another move, that's another story. But awesome job, Hyper Forex guy. I think I called you Hyper Fox guy. I'm sorry about that. Hyper Forex guy. Good job booking gains into this move. Dan also saying here there's no short sale available for LGVN per Fintel. So looks like you're unable to really get borrows on this name as well. Interesting. We've seen this one move before here. It's actually doing a really good job consolidating here. If this yanks back to the VWAP and maybe trades around the VWAP for a little bit, possible move there as well. So 13, I know you got a plan for this. I'm looking at a couple of things for this. Let's see if we can get it done.
Sure.
You sound thrilled about that. You sound thrilled
because I need the market to open.
Next one here is going to be Vivo Power. This is, of course, ticker VVPR, Victor Papa Romeo. Vivo Power International shares are trading higher after the company announced it secured an extension for a $34 million loan financing facility agreement. So it looks like we're getting some financing here, driving VVPR higher. Interestingly enough, we actually took a leg up yesterday, held it, and took several more up here today. It seems like we're on the backside of the move so far, at least in the extended sessions. The volume is contracting. So I expect to see that kind of reverse course when the market opens, since we're just going to have so much more. But I will kind of be looking for a similar type of pattern, right? If we do have some expanding volume, maybe that will coincide with a move up here. But as we see this volume start to compress on the backside, going to have to be very, very careful or very, very tactical about buying this. We'll see if this sets up as it comes into a support level. What do you have here on VVPR?
Yeah, aside from what you said there, the only other interesting data point is, of course, it's going to be its float at 1.5 million shares. It is under its VWAP right now, but it is coming down to the 65 EMA on the 5 minute. So we'll look for support there. Now, if it doesn't hold there, then I'd be anticipating that the $4.10 level, where we've had resistance turned support. If we trade down there, that's the next level I'd be looking for support. You can see in the pre-market we traded just underneath that and came right back up before we trailed down some more. I'm looking at the peaks from earlier this morning around 4:30 and 6:20 as indication of where this was topping out and finding resistance. Once we blew through that level, it became support. So that's the particular level I'm watching for at BBPR. If we lose that, then I'm probably just going to not worry about this one or wait until it goes to a lower demand zone.
Okay. VVPR, here is that 65 EMA, as you mentioned. I'm going to go ahead and actually leave this one on the chart. I'll add it to my scanner chart as well. I know we talk about that a lot. I should have it as a visual aid here. So, okay. Good stuff there. VVPR. We'll see if we get a setup. Rick was mentioning here, VVPR ran last week too. If you take a look at the 15-minute chart, you can see we did actually have that. And the interesting thing about this, Rick, or at least one of the things that I noticed here, that up move that we were all trying to like capture, it just existed in the pre-market, right? Once the regular market opened, this thing sold off. I guess technically it gave you a little bit of a bounce play there, but that was pretty substantially beneath the VWAP. I don't think I would have played that in any form. But here we go. Are we going to get the same type of thing here? Do we just have the up move here in the pre-market? Or do we get another one? Something to keep in mind. Good mention here on VVPR's move last week.
Yep.
Next here. Yep, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, yep, I agree.
Oh, okay. Next here on the list is going to be VRPX. This is Verpax Pharmaceuticals, and the catalyst here, Verpax Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced results for a swine model pilot study for one of its drugs, Probuder. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm trying.
I know.
I'm trying. I will be embarrassed till the end of time trying to pronounce these stupid names of these.
Oh,
stupid
hey, you
drugs.
got it. I think you did it pretty good.
Anyway, this rip in here. Let's get off the 15-minute chart so we can get a little bit more granular view of what this looks like here. You can see several impulse moves on several different volume spikes here this morning on Verpax. What do you got here? Low flow. What are you? What's your plan here on Verpax?
Yeah, they got a 2.44 million share float. They did a 1-for-10 reverse split on March 1st. Right now in the pre-market, we're seeing that it's trying to break out over. I guess we'll call this the 215 level. That's twice it was rejected there. It broke over it about 20 minutes ago and went to 230, and before it came right back in. So I think what we were going to want to see for a sustained upside is we want to see first a close above 215. At least on my 5-minute chart, that's what I want to see first. We can start closing above that level. That might be a better indication that we're going to be going higher. But right now, I mean, trade this how you will. This looks like it's getting really close to trying to push through that 215 and go higher. Just don't know if it's going to have enough volume right now.
Okay. Real good stuff there on VVPR VRPX. How many times am I going to mess that up today? 13. How many times am I going to call out the wrong ticker? Folks, be sure to check that here. If we're dealing with multiple movers here that have V's in it, just be careful. One thing to note here is that we were just talking a little bit about short interest there. We are actually due for an update today. I don't think we're going to get that maybe till later today. Probably won't be reflected till tomorrow, but we are due for a short interest update, and the team is aware and on top of it. So we should be in really, really good shape there. Okay, good stuff there. VRPX. Next here is going to be AP, and this is not Audemars Piguet, but this is Ampco Pittsburgh. This is a stock that I've never traded here before, never even really looked at. Shares are trading higher after the company announced an 11.7 million contract win, or in contract wins, from its Union Electric Steel subsidiary. Okay, so that's the piece of news here. Real quick, Ampco Pittsburgh Corp is a U.S.-based company manufacturing and selling engineered specialty metal products and customized equipment. So that gives you an idea of what this company does here. So it looks like we've got a positive PR here. Our market is reacting to it. This traded up in the after hours yesterday, but it's really kind of just leaked here today. And so let's take a look at the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Look at that. We broke that. So we're actually beneath that and the VWAP here. For me, this one really needs to have a pretty good setup. I suspect maybe we'll get some type of bounce pop at some point here today. But it is, to me, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in this one, and I think that there are going to be other targets here that we can look at. Was this one that you covered here, 13?
Not really. It is it has come down to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, and it's trying to hold that right now. But we have VWAP and other EMAs bearing down on it, and they're about to cross. And usually when that happens, that means that there's going to be more than likely more downside ahead. The thing that worries me about this is that I'm looking at, it's got a $11.7 million contract, but it's also looking like it's got enough dead already. So I'm not sure about this one. It's not really trading too well in the morning. So I think this is just something you're gonna have to wait and see what happens. I see here in the after hours when the news started running, there was an initial pop that drove it up to $1.04. So there's a potential bottom right there, and we're not too far away. So if this does drop beneath the 200 EMA, that's the level I'll be looking for support. And if we lose that, then this is just another one I take off my screen.
Okay. Real good stuff there. We'll see if this gives us a bottom setup here on AP. Okay, I think we got a couple of more movers here, including an ex-girlfriend with an ex-girlfriend name here that we'll go into in a second. Then we'll go ahead and take tickers from the chat here. NAS Technology is the next one on the list here. This popped in the after hours yesterday and then popped again here this morning, going to about 650. I don't see any fresh news on this. The only recent PR here came from the end of June about regaining compliance based on its minimum bid price. So to me, this just kind of feels like, I don't necessarily want to call it a pump, but it feels like it's kind of moving on pumpy type action. Maybe just some momentum. Don't really have a whole lot here on NAAS other than the share structure. I'm not sure if you have anything on this one, 13.
Yeah, I think this is just a little bit of relative volume from yesterday. And the steps to getting to this point with this one was that this one was selling off. It was falling out of NASDAQ compliance. It just regained that. So that was the only real news as of late. And since it's been trying to turn around and start to gain volume in prior days leading up to today, that's why it's moving again. It's just on relative volume. There's no news. So to your point about it being a pump, yeah, I don't know how long this lasts, and it's just moving on nothing except being pumped. That's really all I can see too. So yeah, relative volume and pumping.
Yep, there you go. Next here is going to be GXAI, and this one here had a catalyst. This pop. This looks very, very similar to AMP. What was that? AP. Excuse me. GXAI here popped initially. Gaxos AI shares are trading higher after the company announced it had partnered with Meshi to deliver 3D assets to its AI solution for game developers and publishers. Okay, I'm not really sure why that would cause such a strong move. Stock's still up 15% here. See if this gets another run. I think the big key here, the telling thing to watch is going to be the volume. Looks like Bex is on this one as well. So we'll see if we get any type of value move in here. As you can see, this has really started to compress. Something else is going to have to kind of drive that volume for us to get really excited about that. Did you have anything on this one?
Just that they have a 867,000 share float. They did a reverse split, 1 for 12 back in March. Other than that, I don't have really anything here. And it does look like this is just, it's already bottomed here. Mm-hmm. And I would be waiting for, I'd just be looking for some consolidation. I just don't want to see it go much lower. If we start going lower, then this, maybe it comes back later, but I think it's starting to bottom right now. So this is something I'd be watching and waiting for when we get to the open. This might start moving again, but watch the volume, watch the levels. This one could be good if we start to turn around here, but that's what I need to see first.
Okay. Next is going to be SNGX, and I think this is just continuation from yesterday. There is really no fresh news. We covered pretty much everything yesterday on this name, so it looks like it's just kind of continuing to move today. You don't have anything new on SNGX, right? This is the same from yesterday?
Yeah, there's nothing new to really say here. Yeah.
Next one here is going to be Peggy. This is Pineapple Energy, and this is one of those ex-girlfriends, Peggy here. The one thing to note here, 260, definitely a key spot. This is where we were unable to get over yesterday in the pre-market. We did it in the after hours briefly, but it was only temporary. We tried again here in the pre-market, and we were rejected. So we'll see here if we can get above 260, maybe call that 260 to 265. That seems to be the key area here. Looking at looking at the news feed, all of this is from yesterday, right? So we're trading higher after the company engaged Conduit Capital to provide structural support, staffing, and assistance with capital raising activities. That was our news from yesterday. No new news here today. Okay, let me go over to the bigger chart here. We'll take some tickers from the chat here. We are going to start with VRT. That is one that a number of traders have been on here. VRT, the big thing here, obviously looking like it's trying to get above its 50. We've got wicks on these last 3 days all the way up to the 50-day moving average. I don't know. We'll see if we can get above that here, break above that, and maybe get a move here on ticker VRT. You got anything on this one, 13?
So they report earnings in 14 days. And if it continues to push up to the through the 50-day SMA, which is currently giving it resistance problems, then I think you may want to sell into that strength. That's. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about this stock, but that's kind of what I would do for this play, because it looks like it's. We've already got one move through the 20, the day SMA. We're trying to get through the 50. We do that, and we start pushing up towards the highs of 109. I guess it's 109.50-ish, 109.27. Sorry.
Yep, right in there.
So I think this would be something I'd sell into. I just don't know enough about this stock to really know if I'd hold this. I do see a gap to be filled, a very small gap, about $1 gap, from the end of May. So there's a lot of nice things to like about this to the upside, but it does need to get over that 50-day SMA first, in my opinion.
Okay. Real good stuff there on VRT. And Jay, give you some flowers here on this one. I know we've talked about this one before, but it looks like you're still continuing to scale out of this one. LNTH here, this is actually printing 94s here in the pre-market. Another huge move here. Jay, I know you were selling this almost 100% move on this equity. You've talked about this a number of times. We've brought this up a number of times. Never really been kind of a good day trade setup here, but it has been just an absolute banger of a swing trade here. Another good job. This kind of reminds me of your Crocs trade, which was, and guess what, 13? It's time. Stock is absolutely flying here, so we're going to use your new drop here. Jay, congratulations on this trade. Ring that register. Really, really good stuff on LNTH. Obviously, at this point of the trade, you should be selling. I'm not too sure that this is a buy spot here. I would be curious on your opinion of what this thing is going to do if it retests that $100 level. After all, we're only $6 away from its current price right here. Okay, let's see. What else do you... Richard Chu asking about Nike. This has been a big one recently. Really, the only question here is, where is the bottom, right? That's kind of what we have been asking here on Nike. We talked a little bit about 70 maybe being a potential bottom. The happy hour drew up levels at 60 and 65. 13, I think 65 is one of the levels that you're looking for, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, there's
it goes all the way back to this resistance level back in 2015.
It's like between 65 and 67 is where there's an interesting area of support. Going back to 2015, you can see that peak at the end of the year in December and November. That's where we get part of this the support area from, because we're coming down to there pretty quick. But we were talking in the happy hour chat a lot about the concern with knockoff brands maybe taking away market share from this company, or it hurting its own brand because knockoffs are being sold at such steep discounts. There was a concern about their inventory, that they have too much of it. There's also concern about youth and the sports engagement that they have. We've seen that there's over the past few years that youth engagement in sports has been on a decline. And so if you don't have youth playing sports and recognizing that Nike brand, they're less likely to buy it in the future as they grow older. So that's the other concern that we had. Still, at the same time, it's one of the most recognizable brands in the apparel industry. Still very strong company, and it's just going through a weak phase right now. So this is interesting to me. I'm adding shares on the way down because that's what I do. For long-term trades, I like to buy into the weakness. So I'm not completely filled into my desired position yet. I'm only about halfway, but so that leaves a lot more room to add to the downside for me. But I think that it's just going to probably find a bottom somewhere down underneath $70. Just don't know exactly where.
Okay, well, Smoke Tuna saying the best support I see here is 60. And by the way, sharing that strategy of adding on weakness in very, very small lots on the way down so you don't soak up all of your buying power. Really, really smart. That's very mature long approach at trading some of these names. So really, really like that. Looks like Lion Atlas doing the same thing here. Jay saying, taking the other side at, why would anyone tie up capital with Nike? I'll let you guys talk about that one. This is not a company that I care for, but I tell you what, we get to a certain level here. I think just taking it for a trade makes a lot of sense. Okay, I'm going to flip.
It's real simple. You can't get any long-term gains by just by doing day trades only. You have to hold stocks for a long period of time. There's some that are better than Nike, I'll agree, but for the purpose of diversification, there are certain apparel companies that I prefer to get, and there are some that I don't. And Nike's one of the ones that I prefer to get because they have that recognizable brand. They do pay a dividend, and there's a lot more upside ahead. So I feel that getting into this weakness is the play to make. Now, you might be right that there are other. We're actually open. You might be right. There are actually other plays that are better than Nike, and I would tend to agree. But this is the one I've chosen. I think this one will give me a good equity return at the same time.
Yeah, and again, you're taking kind of a long view approach there, which is great. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to flip over to the Trade the Pool brokerage for trade execution here. As a reminder, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool, so if you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold, they might be the answer for you. You simply just need some more dry powder to execute your trading strategy on a regular basis. They can help you with that as well. So be sure to check them on out. I'll also be coming back here to the Benzinga Pro screen. This, by the way, I know just I spend a majority of the time sharing the Trade the Pool brokerage. This is the other screen that I'm looking at, folks. Sometimes when I'm a little bit late on updating a chart, it's because I'm pulling news or I'm pulling some type of stat here from Pro, or I'm flipping around my different Pro layout, and it's tough to do all of those screen changes. Also, real quick here, I know we're open here. Can you talk about VVPR if you haven't? We opened with that. That was one of the top movers. I'm sure we're going to be going back to VVPR as well. In fact, let's just go ahead and see if we're going to do that right now. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Here's Longevron. Looks like this did come back in towards the VWAP. We're going to wait that one out. Smoke Tuna, you made a comment here earlier that I really, really liked, and I'm trying to find it here.
VRPX, that one's just breaking out right now.
Real quick, LGVN, give it time for a bigger pullback. We've seen this before. I think this is super prudent advice. That's what I'm going to try and do as well.
Yeah, VRPX, that one's pushing right now. I'd be looking for this one to move up as high as 325.
Which one? Which ticker?
This is VRPX.
VRPX. Here we go. Bang. Big pop here. Big pop here. The VVPR, by the way, the other one with the V here, this actually going in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still trying to hold that 65 EMA on the 5-minute. So we'll see. Yeah, that LGVN, there was a little pop there, and then it just came right back in. So be careful here. If this breaks the 550 level, then the next downside level that I have after that is going to be 485.
Okay, Bex is right here. GameStop right out of the gate. Ticker GME. That is ripping here. No position in that one, but man, oh man, we're going to have some action if the GameStop train starts up again here today. How's AMC doing? We might as well check in on that. That also at the highs here. Let's see if Chewy is participating. Hey, look, Chewy not participating at all. 13, you might be right. This is not part of that meme game. Kind of been throwing that back and forth.
Interestingly, the Chewy did have a noticeable pop at the end of the day, and I, not exactly sure what it was on, but it might be just more of the some maybe a little bit of meme stonking happening. But I still don't think this is a meme stock because this is actually a good company.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Here is VRPX. Sal asking, Ryan, do you use Trade the Pool, and what is your thoughts? Yes, I use it every day. You watch me use it every day, and my thoughts are initially I was not. I kind of wanted to trade my own account, but the more I started to use prop firms, especially Trade the Pool, I mean, this is the one I have the most experience with by far. And given the environment that we're in, I actually really, really like it. All right. I am struggling with the day trading just in kind of the environment that we're in. The setups that I generally look for are not working. And so I'm kind of having to adjust and make other trades. And sometimes it's painful. But being able to do that in a prop account really kind of gives me like a feeling of protection, right? Like I'm not really hurting myself. Now, let's be very, very clear. I have a completely separate account that is all mine that I still have swing positions in. That is my main account. That is the one I care about more, if you will. So have no illusions about that. The reason I'm not day trading in that account is because, frankly, it just hasn't really been working. And some of the swing stuff that I own has been working. So I'm just kind of going where things are working and where they're not. But overall, as far as prop firms go, this is the best. I actually really like the hub as well. And they're supposed to be doing some upgrades to this hub pretty soon. So check it out and let us know. The only thing is I understand from what people have said, Mac users can't really use this. Kind of a bummer. Thankfully, I've got both operating systems here. Hope that helps. Okay, let's get back to the stocks here. SNGX, getting a couple of mentions here in the chat. Looks like that did move through the VWAP here, a little bit spread out.
Yeah, putting up some not too good looking upper shadows, but it is still moving up, but needs to get back above VWAP and stay there.
Okay, LGVN. This did have kind of a pullback here to the VWAP. Now, Smoke Tuna, I want to know, let's qualify this. Is this the bigger pullback that you have been looking for? Or are you looking for an even bigger pullback, maybe something into a 4 handle, which is still another 6 cents away, or excuse me, 60 cents away from where we're at? Curious to know what you're thinking here. We just lost the VWAP here. LGVN just lost the VWAP. HE is on the move. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is Hawaiian Electric. This coming up off the bottom here. This was what, 6 and change?
Yeah,
No,
this was
7 and change. Excuse me.
Yeah, because remember from the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
but again, the level that I have associated with HE is anywhere between 12 and 13, because right after that fire, when we first started looking at this, it was in that price range. Now, since then, it's gone lower, but still a possible scenario here where this recovers. I haven't really been following it. I do see the pop here. No trade for me, though.
SNGX, a little spready, but it's still pushing up.
Carvana 130. You know,
is it really?
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, $133. Actually, it's teasing 134 here, printed above it just now. This Carvana thing, I mean, I don't understand the business. I mean, I do understand like not having to go to a dealership, right? Like being able to buy a car and not having to deal with all the stress and the BS, frankly, that goes on at a dealership. Car vending machines, I don't really get. But what I don't get is how this stock is $134. I mean, if you had asked me that right when this stock came out, I would have been like, no, there's just no way. And I would have been dead wrong. This has been a fun one to trade. Shout out to some of our group who have actually called really good trades based on some of the short interest in this stock as well. Stock has rewarded a number of our members. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them.
Yeah. I want to say that part of it we could attribute to the CPI showing that car prices have been, coming down. So that may be driving some sales growth in names like Carvana. That's just, but I think that's only a facet of why Carvana's up. I don't think it's the whole story. But it's something I've noticed from CPI, though. Yeah,
and Rick, appreciate this. Rick, just kind of going back to HE here, Hawaiian Electric. The headline here is that it soars as Maui County reportedly seeing fire settlement options. So I would imagine that you're going to get more and more headlines out of that, which is going to make this kind of a volatile trade. If that's something that you're following, though, makes a lot of sense. Okay, what else we got here?
Well, we got mentioned from Christopher that JMIA is continuing to move up still. I just see this large 5-minute candle, and then the next candle that we're currently on right now, currently trying to hold above VWAP right now. So volume is slow down a little bit, but if we hold above VWAP, we might get another setup for another trade here.
Yeah, JMIA, this level is yesterday's intraday high. Still it did pop above that and kind of came back in. Let's see if we recapture that and maybe move a little bit more here on JMIA.
Chewy is now popping, and it is pushing up to the pre-market high of 25.38.
Okay, and that's on kind of low volume here. Don't really see any news here on Chewy, so that just looks like it's maybe kind of trading with some of those other names. Maybe there's some late GME, AMC traders going to that name. GME, a little bit of a pullback here, but not huge. AMC, same deal.
So Margaret had a big drop out of the gate, and it seems to have found support from the one of the pre-market lows.
Margaret?
That was Peggy. Sorry, Peggy.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I had no clue what you were talking about there, dude. Wow.
But yeah, this one had a drop to a low of 208. That was the low in pre-market back in at 805. That's what we dropped to when we opened, and now it's trying to reclaim the opening. So not too far away from there. Trading above VWAP. It might push back up, and we'll see what happens after that.
VRPX here popping and going more towards the highs here, right above 3 on VRPX. Volume looks great here right out of the gate.
And FFIE still pushing up too, but on a little bit lower volume.
Okay, Peggy is a short name for Margaret. I guess I'm stupid. I had no idea that was the case. How is that a shortened name?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sorry. I had no clue. It makes a lot of sense though. I feel.
I guess I'm just old then.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm old too. I guess I'm old and dumb, which is not the combination.
You're not dumb, man. Be quiet.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing Tesla calls come in as we speak. Tesla calls right now. Tesla actually popping to the highs here. Let's see. Let me see if I can grab you some more. Oh, okay. Those were puts. Tesla calls here. Those are the 270s that expire this Friday. It's like those were getting swept up there.
Smoke tuna, great call on SNGX. But with this current trading that we're seeing with these upper shadows appearing, are you still confident we're going to get up to 14, or do you want to see it pull back a little bit? Because to me, this looks like it might be coming in first before we get up to well, first I want to see 11, 16 get taken out, and then 14. Just help me out here with what you're talking about here. Fairchild, I'm not a boomer. Oh man.
Yeah, I think technically I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
Nice job, Bob. Give you a cash register way and grabbing the quick couple hundo right out of the open. Let's go, Bob.
Asking about FedEx.
FedEx is just kind of rolling over here. The one thing to keep in mind on FedEx here is if we actually break the bottom of this island, pretty juicy gap going all the way down to 256. Current price here 290. So big range there on FedEx.
Didn't I have you draw a resistance trend line in FedEx on Pro?
Perhaps. Let me go check that out real quick. By the way, Kava, backside of that move coming here. Kava down pretty big here today.
Okay, gotcha.
Down 4.5% here.
Yeah, so FedEx, we drew. I know we drew a trend line together where it's been it's an upward trend line, but it's still resistance. You can see it from basically June or July since last year. Every peak we've had, you can just draw a trend line. It's found resistance every time. This is the fourth time. There you go. So we kind of had this already charted. Now we just need to see if this is going to end up filling that gap to the downside, or if it's going to find support and try to break out of this this trend line. To me, I would say that we probably are going to have to come back in. I don't know how much or if we'll completely fill the gap, but I think we still need to come in from here.
Okay. I do remember drawing that trend line. Kudos to you for bringing that back here. By the way, AP, we talked about this one here. Yep. The volume is expanding. Jonathan, this was a great call. Hopefully you got this one. I actually flipped over to this when you mentioned this. Shout out on this one. Nice little move here, right? Nice little move out of that consolidation area. I know it's 114 and 133, so it's kind of small here. Volume still looking pretty good. I'm not going to chase this move here, but Jonathan, really good job waiting for this stock to actually tell you when it's time. Well done.
No.
Well
Excellent
done.
Stuff.
How are we doing with some of the tech names here? SMCI a little bit weaker, but nothing crazy there. NVIDIA a little bit weaker, although it did just reclaim its VWAP. Apple, which has been a beast recently, more highs here, 231. Gosh, tell you what, the buy Apple and just hold on to it thesis, yes, sir. That has been working for a decade now. Pretty good on that one.
All they had to do was just run in until TSMC. They want all their chips. And stock took off.
Armando, you're asking about Anne Marie's. Let me see if I can find those. Armando, oh my Amanda, I'm so sorry. The monitor that I have this chat on is not great, and I misread stuff all the time. Amanda, let me see if I can find those deets from Anne Marie on that trade.
All right. In the meantime, I'm just going to cycle through some of these. Man, Longeveron is looking super weak now. Guess the next spot I'd be looking for support would be down around the $4 area, which is close to where the 65 EMA is. We'll see if that happens, because it looks like there's a lot of sellers starting to pile in. But if it reclaims 5, then we'll take a look at it again. Maybe there's a chance it'll break up through the VWAP again. AP pulled back a little bit. VRPX, that one looks like it might try to push and go higher. Needs a little bit better volume. VVPR, trying to find a bottom. PLTR keeps going strong. Let's see where that's at today. 2780. You know, it's a little sideways right now. Since it got up here on Monday, been going a bit sideways. The high that needs to get past was yesterday's, which is 28.38. I still think that around 29.50, if we don't start turning around here, that might be the short-term top. But we'll see. Going to mention from Chewy and Beam. Yeah, Tom Tran, TSMC's highest target from 30% from here. I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable. They've been getting all the chip business.
Yep.
Them and Samsung, even though I just read that Samsung may experience some sort of a strike. So that would be a little bit problematic for the semiconductor industry, because they are one of the biggest DRAM and NAND producers. So we'll see if that ends up happening. SNGX might push here. Sorry.
It's okay. LGVN trying to reclaim its VWAP here. Watch this one. Daddy Backstrap. Ryan, when are you going to have Anne Marie back on? She was on yesterday. She'll be back on Friday. I want to know her thoughts on credit put spreads versus poor man covered calls. Sure, we can ask her that. Show up on Friday. She'll be here, at least as far as I know.
SNGX and VRPX to keep on watch. Yeah, seems like they're doing pretty good. Just kind of holding these levels, but SNGX really needs to get. They're having a hard time getting through this supply zone that we got here in the pre-market. So we can get through that. Then 1116 is the high that I'd like to see this get to next.
AEHR at the highs.
There we go. Peggy coming back.
Peggy coming to the highs here. Volume on this last 3-minute candle is a little bit higher. I'd like to see a little bit more than that, though.
Longeveron might have found a bottom. It's starting to turn around now.
Longeveron through the VWAP here to the upside. We were just short of the VWAP the last time we checked on this. I think if you were playing the curl here off 5, is a good trim spot.
Yep. It's also trying to push.
The RPX here looking like this might take another run at 3 here. Kava still looking for a bottom. Looks like it tried to bounce. That bounce was short-lived. 85.64, your intraday low. Looks like that's going to get tested again here on Kava.
Glenn Adams mentioning Casia Therapeutics. KZIA.
Yeah, that's that penny stock.
Yeah.
And this is, to me, currently in a downtrend. I mean, I would really... I'm going to pass on KZIA completely here. I'd be curious to know what the group thinks here. If you guys think there's a trade here.
If you trade penny stocks, this is obviously going to be interesting to you. It did have a nice volume pop already, but yeah, I think this is coming in a little bit here. I think if you're going to play this one, you might want to be looking for some support. I think you actually already got it. So the initial pop here up to in pre-market up to 28 cents. That was the high, and that seems to be where the support was just a moment ago. So if you start to see it move, if it holds here, then I think you have a good setup. But penny stocks are not for me. So trade it how you will. It just looks like this is getting some support from that high from the pre-market.
And also, real quick here, I think I'm able to get that leg of the Anne Marie trade here for you guys. Tell you what, she's awesome. She's the absolute best. Always responsive. Always responsive. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Yes. Okay. It's a little bit janky. But here you go. These were the Tesla trades for yesterday. So, Amanda, you were asking about this earlier. Did anyone catch the levels for Anne Marie's Tesla theta erosion yesterday? I watched the replay a few times, and I think I'm missing the top. It's a short iron condor. So here you go. The iron condor here is going to be on the bottom. And those butterflies are the green ones on the top. The levels here on that iron condor, 300, 305, and 200 and 195.
I think Jumia might be pushing here to try to take out the this intraday high of 1137. Keep an eye on it. If you like this trade setup, I think you might see a break here with a little bit of more volume.
Let me bring it up on the screen. Here we go. Your good call. You're welcome, Amanda. The least I can do for getting your name wrong, for heaven's sakes. I mean, I better make some amends here. Okay. Let's see what the Twitter streets are up to.
Rick Potter has multiple levels for he. 11 at the end of the day, 13 end of the week, and 20 at the end of the month.
Okay.
But hey, it sounds like a good plan.
That's, of course, Hawaiian Electric.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? URA on the relative volume scanner. That's the uranium play there. That's big move here.
KB had mentioned QURE earlier.
CCJ, big move up here, back through 50. Boy, this is a buy under 50. CCJ. What ticker was that? Sorry, I missed it.
QURE, Unicure. This one has a bull pennant on the 5-minute chart. So if we get a little bit more volume, I think we could see it high. Oh, there we go. Just as I said that, we started moving up.
All you had to do was start talking about it, dude. That's it.
725 is the breakout spot. Don't have levels for this one, so I'm not sure where this starts topping out at. But that's the next step I'm looking for is the breakout of 725.
Carvana, you're getting the same thing here. Carvana looks like this is trying to go higher here. 135 prints on Carvana. How gold will perform. Now, are you just asking about the commodity gold or are you asking about Barrick gold? This actually has a pretty decent hourly chart. This looks like this is trying to break out here. I would imagine gold would probably go higher if we do get one of those sell-offs, but man, oh man, the market's been fighting the sell-off for a long time. Not really confident to say you should be buying up gold here. The one thing I will say here about gold, though, if you're interested in gold, make sure you have physical gold. That's the real play. By the way, IVP getting mentioned here. IVP, this did come back into its VWAP popping now, and that volume is continuing to expand here. This one looks good. Be sure to trim into this move if you were playing this. Look at what we did yesterday. Move kept going. It was looking real good until it wasn't. You don't want to give these gains back. Nice move here, IVP.
Yeah, with gold, especially GLD, it looks like it's starting to turn a little bearish on the daily. So to me, I think I would just kind of want to see it hold the 50-day SMA. I guess that's what we're a little ways away from there right now. But if this starts to come back in, that's what I'm going to watch for. So I'm not sure we're going to see too much more upside. We might, but it's just the pattern looks really bearish right now on the daily. So I really couldn't give you any positive outlook on that one.
LGVN trying to go through its VWAP right here.
Mm-hmm. Certainly is.
Yeah, I actually might try some here. Stop at 530 just in case it doesn't move.
Yeah, at 550 level, that we were looking for it to act as support. Now that's the resistance level.
Yeah,
with enough volume, we get through there. We
lost 530. I was real quick. I got head faked there. Oh my God. I hate day trading so much, guys. I mean, I have the levels and it just totally flushed me out. Totally flushed me out and going higher here. Man, oh man, oh man.
Trying to push, and it's just pushing through 50 right now, or 550 at the moment. Getting resistance though, so this might be where it could turn around. Still 15 seconds left in this candle.
Yeah, there's your 550 here. Let's see what I kind of want to see just what happens here. Are we able to go through that? By the way, pop on 550 if we're still in here for the upside. This would have been a trim move, a little bit more size there at 560.
All right, so kind of bouncing back and forth. Who's going to be the winner, the Bears or the Bulls? Looking like the Bears are gaining an upper hand.
That 550 is definitely still one of those levels there. It keeps pulling off of it.
Absolutely. Daniel Torres asking, what up, guys? What do you think about Apple, new all highs?
Hold it. Just hold it.
There you go.
Just hold it. Been holding this thing since 2014. I don't care about the day-to-day fluctuations here as long as the love of this ecosystem is still present, and believe me, it is. Long this stock here. This has been one of my better long-term trades of all time. Thankfully, I had my mom get into this too, so she's actually enjoying those gains as well.
For me, I think I'd like to see this correct. It is very extended, so I think that there will be downside at some point soon. But I believe that as soon as we get to the bottom of that pullback or correction or whatever is about to come, that might be a good time to add. So, for me, I'm just sitting on my hands with the position I have. And when it comes back in, depending on how low it goes, I'll decide if I want to add more to that or not.
NAS Technology, this curled off that $4 level right back to the VWAP. Is this halted? It's not moving here. It is halted to the upside here. 498 ticker NAAS.
And look at that poll. Look at that poll with LGVN. Look at that poll. You're welcome, Dan.
This is also why I had such a short leash on this. We knew going into this that this was possible. We knew it. We talked about it ahead of time. So, okay, rather stay safe. Okay. All right. It is just shy of 10 o'clock, which means it is guest time, and it's Wednesday. So that means the guest is the one and only Mr. Tim Melvin. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Tim, happy Wednesday. How you doing?
Happy Wednesday, guys. I am doing fantastic. How's everybody on your end?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, so far so good, man. I mean, I woke up and I'm breathing here today, so I'm feeling great.
That is fantastic. So last week I said I'd talk about small caps a little bit. So we made some notes this morning. So if you guys want to talk small caps today, then I'm ready for that one.
I would love to hear what you're thinking. Yeah, I do really quickly. I know that we're talking about, or recently we've been talking about some of these dividend playing stocks, and you've talked about a lot of community banks and all of that. I just want to ask you a really kind of a quick general question. We're starting bank earnings here on some of the bigger banks on Friday. Do you look at anything in those earnings reports? Do you apply that to any of the other bank trades that you have? Do you take anything away from some of these big bank earnings?
No, absolutely. First off, JP Morgan in particular is mandated. You got to read the report, and you got to read the transcript of the call. Don't spend the 2 hours waiting for the call. Okay. These guys, along with Citi and Bank of America, there's not a nickel that floats through the American economy that they don't see at some point in this some point in its travels. Okay. Whether it's in trading, market making, banking, lending, commercial finance. If the dollar came in somewhere into the United States and has made its way through the economy, JP Morgan probably touched it at some point. So their commentary on what's going on in the economy and in the world is informative. It's going to give you some information. And then every once in a while on the call, they give Jamie Dimon too much coffee and he gets wound up and goes off. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's entertaining, and it's just worth reading the transcript to see if Jamie spins loose. But so the JP Morgan, it used to be, because I follow banks. Wells Fargo used to be the call. because they were the axe in mortgages for literally decades. They're not anymore. They've really consciously kind of pulled back from being the originator of choice in the banking sector for mortgage. But we read everything because they see some economic stuff we're not going to see. And there's really important information in the credit card portfolios and the amount of losses and reserves. Same with commercial real estate, because we keep hearing all this garbage talk about how the community banks have all the commercial real estate and they're all going to collapse. Now, it is true that community banks have a lot of commercial real estate. They have offices loans and gas station loans and local warehouse and local business loans. The problems are not there. They're in office towers. Who has the office towers? Mostly commercial mortgage-backed securities and commercial mortgage REITs, but the big banks have some too. So what JP Morgan and Citi and Bank of America are doing with their commercial real estate office tower, office loan portfolio is also very informative. So, if there's exposure to the problems in commercial real estate, it's at the great big banks, not the smaller banks. So there's a lot of information in the calls.
Okay, awesome. I'll say this real quick about bank calls. The one time that I've wanted to punch my computer monitor was listening to a Wells Fargo call when the CEO at the time said that 8 is the cross-sell number because 8 rhymes with great. And as someone that worked as a banker, as someone that worked in banks and absolutely hated it, that made my blood boil. And I was this close to putting my fist through the screen. So in any case, I'm glad I didn't. But he got what was coming to him. So
full disclosure, my wife worked for Wells Fargo for years, and she left because of just the bizarre sales policies that they had. I mean, your entire bonus for the year could you could do millions of dollars in loans, bring in, $1 billion accounts. If you didn't open enough checking accounts, you didn't get your bonus.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's bizarre policies. Now, the only thing I'll ever say in Wells' defense is this. Wells drew the short straw because at the time, all 4 big banks had exactly the same marketing program. So I think they put everybody.
They were the one that got the example made of them.
Right. If you ever saw Sons of Anarchy, if you watch that, where, they had to give up a son in the jail because they'd killed one of the other gang. So it was Wells Fargo drew the short end of the straw. They had to go into the pen and get beat to death by the other gang. So that's the
that is, you have a way with words, Tim. You have a way with words and comparisons there. Okay.
So let's talk small caps.
Let's do it. What do you got for us?
All right, small caps, for decades, really, there was the small cap effect. It's powerful. You got to own small caps. And come to find out, the small cap advantage, all of the research, right, was done in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And from that point on, from say 1990 forward, the small cap advantage, even as billions of dollars are raised and everybody's piling in with their small cap funds, the small cap advantage went away. It literally no longer existed. And you see it now today, right? Take a look, take the S&P and the QQQ and lay the chart next to the Russell 2000 or the micro cap, the IWC. And it's night and day. Clearly, small caps are not great. It's been 20 years since small cap outperformed large cap for a sustained period of time. Now, here's what's happened. In the 70s.
By the way, real quick, Tim, here is your comparison. Here's your comparison with SPY to IWM, and that's it. And you can see as clear as day that relationship.
Right. And it's been fractured for some time, which is why a lot of your small cap funds, look, Wall Street loves an idea, right? I mean, you got an idea and you can raise billions of dollars, and they did with the small cap funds, which then promptly underperformed for decades. So what happened? Why did this go away? Because it makes sense that small cap stocks should outperform large cap stocks. You've got all the opportunities. It takes less buying power to move the stock. We all know that. When the studies were done and when the outperformance of small caps was spectacular, okay, small caps were fallen angels, larger stocks that had fallen onto hard times. They were smaller growth companies that were just hitting the first step of the curve. And they were converted mutual thrift savings banks. There were lots of those, hundreds of them, in the 70s and 80s in the small cap world. So what happened? Well, the 1980s happened, and we saw the rise of the penny stock peddler. Right. All of a sudden, penny stock firms were everywhere. There were low price, low quality IPOs happening all the time. Then there's something else that most people really overlook, but your young growth companies didn't have to go to the third tier Wall Street firms for financing anymore, because there was this new guy out in California by the name of Michael Milken. And Milken found a new way using debt to finance. And if you look at the list, all of these companies would have been small cap stocks, but MCI, Golden Nugget, McCall Cellular, CNN, Turner Broadcasting, all of these young growth companies use junk bonds instead of growth capital from the equity market to grow the business. So there was a whole new source of financing that the quality names went to. So then we had, of course, IPOs. And again, Wall Street loves IPOs. So we got into a 20-year cycle from the 80s. Oh, hell, let's call it a 40-year because it still exists today. Every time a sector is hot, you'll see a dozen or more, IPOs a day in that sector. Whatever it is. We're seeing it now in AI. Inevitably, 98% of them fail and collapse into being tiny stocks. Now, we took that phenomenon and we put steroids on it starting in 2007 with SPACs.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Because 95, and look, I love SPAC arbitrage. In 2007, the only trades I did were SPAC arbitrage. That's it. And it paid all my bills, put a lot of bartenders' kids through college back in the day because I was single. So, I mean, it was a very profitable exercise. However, once you get away from the arbitrage opportunities, that's a whole nother show because it would take a long time to explain fully. But most of those companies that they bought public via SPAC, they should have never left the garage or the basement. I mean, they had absolutely no business being public companies, and it showed. So we took the small cap universe, small growth companies, converted thrifts, and fallen angels, and we poured garbage on top of it for 2 decades. If you go through and you look at the Russell 2000, over 40% of the Russell 2000 companies do not produce free cash flow.
Right.
Something like a third of them do not cover their interest expense every year. They're zombies, basically. So there's, in small caps, there is an enormous amount of junk. So there is still a small cap effect. However, you have to get rid of the junk. So here we go. 3,738 companies right now trading on the U.S. exchange. Okay. They trade for less than $1 billion in market cap. Now, we threw out all the junk that's, not traded and is listed at a penny a share and it's marked there, but it's never really traded because that distorts all of the calculations. So you get rid of everything. You only do the ones priced over $1. There's $2,515, 2,515 stocks. If you bought all of them, if there's a small cap effect, you should outperform.
Right.
You got about half of what the S&P 500 did over the last 10 years.
Okay. So you significantly underperformed.
Right. Way underperformed. So now let's just take this and let's get rid of all the junk. Okay. So we're going to run it through some filters. It's got to have, positive returns, cash flow, not living by issuing debt, not issuing stock on a continual basis, just doing all the good basic core stuff that indicates a real business. There's 150 of those on average. See how much junk we just took out of there?
Yeah. You trimmed a ton of fat really, really quickly.
A ton of junk just came right out of there because the business has to be operating and it has to be getting a little better every year. Okay. Now, if you just bought all those stocks, you outperform the market by about 2 percentage points. Okay. Now, if we add a credit score requirement, then we outperform the market by about 2.5 percentage points. Okay. But now, if we take that universe of really quality businesses with good fundamentals, good credit scores, they can pay their bills, they're not going out of business, and we pay a single-digit multiple of free cash flow. Magic begins to happen because you outperform the market by a significant factor, by more than 50%. It's about 19% and change over the last decade compared to about a 12% on the S&P 500. So in the S&P 500 over the last decade, you throw 10 grand in there, you got about $33,000, $33,800. That's pretty good, right? If you went into small caps with good fundamentals, great credit, single digit cash flow multiples, you got $60,900. So twice as much over just a decade. So now everybody hears me talk about deep value all the time. So we're not going to do that today.
Okay, cool.
Okay. We're going to come in and we're going to say, look, there's another way to skin this goose that for those of you that are traders, you're going to like this one better. Okay. And it's momentum. Right. The other thing that outperforms is momentum, but we got to make a difference here, Ryan. It's a real important difference. The price momentum has to be driven entirely by fundamental momentum. It's a concept that some professors introduced about a decade ago called twin momentum. And it's an aha moment as a momentum trader when you realize what these guys are saying. When the momentum is the result of continual improvements in fundamentals, right? Rising sales, rising earnings, expanding margin, analysts raising estimates, the company exceeding estimates, all that good stuff happening. Returns on equity are getting better. Returns on capital are getting better. This business is growing and it's attracting attention. And then, so that what happens when you see that? Institutions start to get interested. They don't want to miss the boat. So they're coming in and it's their buying pressure moving that stock up and to the right.
You know, that what's interesting about what you just said there is that it seems now, especially in the environment that we're in, that if you don't have institutional ownership or if you don't have stock coverage, your stock trades like literal garbage.
No, it's always been that way. It's always kind of been that way, but it's the fundamentals that are going to eventually attract the institutional.
Okay.
Now, and I came up with probably the best comparative factor right now and I took this from last week when I came in on the tail end when you guys were talking about some nuclear energy stocks.
Mm-hmm.
There is no more unabashed nuclear bull on the planet than me. If you want to hear me go on an epic rant, get me starting on legislators in the Western world and energy policy and why we don't rely on nuclear energy. Now, I've owned cash, uranium, physical uranium through the Sprott Trust for several years now. We've done okay owning the uranium. And there were a lot of reasons for that. One, I think nuclear is a huge part of the future, much bigger than anyone realizes. The other thing is about 5 years ago, we saw something happen that had never happened before in the history of uranium. When they started having the auctions and signing contracts, there was a whole new class of buyer. It was hedge funds and ETFs, and they were showing up and they were buying in size. And you know what they're not going to do with their uranium? Power energy plants. They got it in storage. They're sitting on it.
Okay.
Waiting for a much higher price. So the dynamics of the market changed, and that was like the catalyst. You need to buy uranium. But now let's take a look at what everybody's trading because it's hot. Everybody's excited about it, and they're acting like all this nuclear energy is going to come online right now. And I heard a guy yesterday just going on and on and on about the new Volga plant in Georgia and how exciting it was, what a big step forward that was for nuclear energy. That damn plant was permitted in 2009. To think about that, 2009, they just turned that on a couple of months ago. It's billions of dollars over cost. And then we go to NuScale Power, which I think is a fascinating company, right?
What was the ticker?
NuScale is SMR, small scale.
SMR. That's we've. I was going to say I know that company sounds familiar. We've actually been looking at SMR and trading it as a group here for a while. So,
right. Okay. Same with the NuScale Energy or whatever the hell it is, NNE. Now look, NuScale, and again, they've got some really smart people and some good things. When they did the SPAC, they had a contract that was going to come on right away. The cost overruns got out of control quickly. That contract was canceled. This company has $1.15 billion in market cap. They have $18 million in revenue. The revenue is interest income. Okay. They have and are having serious conversations. Now, serious conversations for Raiders of the Lost Ark fans, that's right up there with top people. Okay. So serious conversations, no contract signed. They've got some designs that have been adopted for review. Okay. Now everybody's touting NewScale as the leader, but let's put some facts on the table. There's 5 SMRs in the world under construction or operational. None of them are NewScale plants. Okay. There are 11 more in the world that have fully funded construction plants. NewScale is none of them. Okay. There's no fundamentals here. You're making a bet on something that might happen 10 years from now. You can't discount cash flow, and discounting losses is ridiculous because you come up with negative numbers. So all you're doing with NewScale or NNE, which is, and NNE, by the way, has some of the brightest people in the nuclear energy industry associated with this company. But they got nothing beyond that except some ideas and hopes and dreams. Hopes and dreams and ideas that may occur a decade from now. They're not worth the $750 million market cap is where I think it is this morning. Now, point being, you can trade these all day. All right. And I'm not going to, if you're trading them and you're doing well, I mean, yay for you. I'm excited and happy for you. However, when the bottom falls out of these, it's going to fall out like that. It's already done it once before for NewScale. As an investor, you want nothing to do with these companies because holding them overnight could be suicide.
Right.
Okay. There's nothing driving the momentum of this. So then we come over and let's look at a company, Baiynd Technology. The symbol here is DSP. They're using artificial intelligence and human insight to drive advertising and technology trends. The margins are getting better. The profits are growing. The revenues are growing. Analysts are raising their estimates. It's going to experience double-digit growth going into the future. It's going from a loss to a profit this year. So the stock is just steadily growing and growing and growing as far as the company, and institutions are starting to notice. And they're starting to move into the stock, and you can see it just kind of starting to move up there off of that bottom.
I was going to say, I'm looking at the chart as you're talking here, Tim. This chart looks pretty good. It looks like we have a bottom put in here, and it looks like it wants to push higher multiple time frames here, daily and weekly especially.
Right. And it's just the fundamentals are great, and you're starting to attract some serious institutional buying interest that's giving us that kind of up and to the right momentum. And you're going to say, well, do we really want to own this? I mean, hell yes, you want to own this. Yeah, it's up 100%. It's doubled. But you've got real buying pressure in a real business that's seeing accelerating fundamentals. And oh, by the way, they have good credit. They can pay their bills. Okay. And if you do if you look, I mean, they've got cash in excess of the share price. And they're generating free cash flow. So they're not, but it's like, for instance, NewScale has exactly 18 months of cash left at their current burn rate. All right. So if they don't go back to the market for more money, well, if you got no cash, you got no business. So, and the same for NNE, they're burning cash. So these guys are generating cash. It's a great business. The advertising model, the way they're doing it with connected TV and mobile is kind of the advertising wave of the future. So really good business. So you buy this. If the fundamentals change or get worse, you get out, because the whole idea here in small caps, and this is how every successful small cap investor has ever done it. As long as the fundamentals are getting better, you stay in the stock. Mm-hmm. And about 10% of those stocks are going to be a long ride. If you do all the homework on the front end, right, you're going to get 10 baggers out of, a handful of your stocks. They're going to be most of your return, and everything else will fall somewhere between, returns, okay returns, and great returns. Then American Public Education. You take a look at this one. They're generating free cash flow, about 40, APEI.
APEI.
Cash rich balance sheet. They're really focusing on both online and off-campus opportunities. But the big story here, they're the #1 adult education company for members of the United States military and veterans. Okay. They're the #2 provider of educational services to the federal employee workforce. So these guys have a really good business, and they're also focusing on, because they've owned a total of 4 schools. The other schools are focusing on nursing and other aspects of the healthcare market. Okay. The ROI, they're in the top 11% of all 4,500 U.S. universities in the term of return on investment for your college education. And that's a big topic these days, right? Is because college, come to find out that a degree in the arts has, like this really negative earnings expectation.
Yeah.
Takes you like 30, 40 years to get your money back from what you spend on the education. Well, here you're going to, because you're coming out as a nurse or something, trained to start earning money right now in demand, you're going to start making money right away. So you have a very positive, strong return on your education dollar. So again, lots of really positive stuff, great cash flow, better margins, really strong balance sheet, and institutions starting to sit up and say, hey, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get a good starter position in here. And the buying starting to push the stock up and to the right. So twin momentum and deep value and small cap, take out all the garbage, buy what's cheap, buy what's strong. And the small cap effect is stronger than it's ever been, because both of those are going to crank out over the last 20 years, 24 years actually, have cranked out average annual returns of about 20% a year.
Okay.
Now,
I love
if you're the stubborn type that really, you want to go for the gusto, then, use both of these, split your money half deep value, half growth, and I'll pull back's margin the living hell out of your portfolio. I mean, now you're into superstarville, as long as you don't get called out at some point, as long as your timing's not really bad.
Yeah.
So the small cap effect, my point is absolutely in place. I would take this too if I was a trader and I was looking to trade momentum. I think I would want that margin of safety built into, because like if NNE, if they do the emperor has no clothes thing on the small modular reactor industry, which they will do someday, you will not have time to get out of these two stocks.
Okay.
They will gap down massively.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times in my career. So, but anyway,
we've actually seen that on biotechs too, right? We've seen some biotechs that have this great story, and then all of a sudden you walk in one morning down 89%. You never had a chance.
If you do not have an immediate member of your family or somebody sleeping within an arm's length of you at night without a PhD in biochemistry, and you're trading these things, you're just buying lottery tickets.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean,
it's like gambling.
It is gambling. I mean, look, sorry, you can't get an edge here. It's way too complicated.
Okay. Tim, I really appreciate it. I loved kind of looking at all of these different things in here. So appreciate it again. DSP, APAI, the two new picks here for today. Look forward to seeing what you bring us next week.
Well, yeah, and if you got any feedback, any listeners in the chat, because I can't see the chat, obviously, but anybody that's got some ideas that they want to throw out that they'd like, to talk about on a Wednesday morning, just throw them out. I'm open to ideas, and other than that, I'll bring you what I see interesting next week.
Could I ask a quick question for
Yes.
you in there? When you're looking at these small caps, how much emphasis do you put on looking into the management of these companies?
Beyond how much stock they own, not much.
Okay.
And here's why. I started doing this in the 1980s, and it took me into the 1990s to figure this out. And I was stunned when I discovered this. Management lies.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. So you want to see what management really thinks about the business? Tell me how much stock they own.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need to know. And insider buying, by the way, especially larger by the CEO and CFO in small caps, really big.
Excellent. Thank you.
I agree with that. I appreciate that question too, because it's been bad management that has sunk some of my stocks. Okay, Tim, we will do that, and we will actually have some stuff. Just looking through the chat here, a couple of people are looking into LEU for uranium, so maybe we can continue that discussion next week.
Yeah, you know what? There is some cool stuff in uranium. So if we want to do that, I can come back with some uranium stuff for next week, because there's some pretty cool stuff going on.
Let's do that. That's actually a really good plan. We got a number of traders in the chat here that are constantly looking at different uranium stocks. We've got one of them here that was talking about CCJ for a while. That was a great trade. LEU is one. So, okay, perfect. That'll be on the docket for next week. Uranium stocks with Tim Melvin. Tim, thanks so much for your time here today. Have a great one. All right.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of the week.
Take care. Oh, one more idea for Tim. Here you go, Tim. Here's an idea. Keep coming back. Okay. We'll go ahead. I'm sure he can hear us. We did remove him here. We'll go ahead and keep doing that. Looking forward to that uranium discussion next week on Wednesday. We'll get Tim back here for that. Okay, 13. While we were talking to Tim about some of those plays there, it looks like GME is rocketing. What's going on here with GameStop?
Oh, I was just watching the chart, and we were getting a formation that looked like it was going to curl back up. We started moving through VWAP, back and forth, and finally we started getting the volume, and that's when I think these folks were starting to trade. But I wanted to point this out prior to that big move, and it was going back and forth when I had said it initially, but then it took off. Now we're going to start getting some EMAs crossing VWAP. That could lead to more upside, but we'll see what happens with this one. This was the move that we wanted to see with GME after the initial move this morning.
Indeed. This actually might not be done. We'll see where this ends up settling here. Okay. Okay, good stuff here. I'm looking at the scanner again here. It looks like VRPX gearing up here again.
That had a pop over VWAP as well, but and now it's holding over VWAP, so we're going to want to see this continue to move up. Just need to see that volume expand again. Since we've had some folks in the chat mention that Powell was coming on to talk again, and as soon as he did, market took a little bit of a haircut here, finding support now down at the lower end of the 557 handle. So
it's funny when he starts talking, we always get a whole bunch of people are like, "Powell, just stop talking. I can't wait till he stops talking."
Yeah, well, when he speaks, the market leaks. What do you say?
There we go. AMD popping to the highs here. Is this an AMD short squeeze? DJAF asking here, is it a short squeeze? What is the short interest on AMD? That's not even very high, is it? 2.6%. Nah. No, I don't know if it's necessarily a short squeeze, though. AMD shares trading higher if the company announced the acquisition of Silo AI. So it looks like you're just getting an AI PR in there. It's driving this higher volume. Actually looks pretty good here on AMD.
Buzzword
Indeed, included in that PR without a doubt.
Now, what's Silo AI about? That's when I be looking
That's
at
the next step here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go
Europe's
to the Google machine. Europe's, okay, you got it. You're one step ahead on the Google machine there.
Europe's, well, I mean, it's right in the news feed here. Just a few headlines down. AMD acquires Europe's largest private AI lab, Silo AI, for $665 million. It enhances open source AI software for efficient training and inference on AMD platforms, strengthens AI capabilities with world-class scientists and engineers, advances strategy for end-to-end AI solutions based on open standards. So looks like it's supposed to help with development.
Okay.
And QRE continues. That's right. We were also talking about that one, and it was breaking through the level that we were talking about, where it initially gone up to in the, I think it was out of the gate or pre-market. I'm not sure which, but it broke past that, and it's been going ever since.
2 breakouts here on this intraday chart, QURE.
Yep.
Smoke Tuna mentioning that LGVN doesn't really seem like it's got more upside, as it's really using that VWAP here as resistance.
Yeah, it is getting depressed by that. At the same time, it's not losing. It's really not losing the 5 handle. It's traded under it, but it's reclaimed it every time. I think as soon as we start seeing closes under 5, then I think we'd be worried that it's going to fall out of bed. But until that happens, the sideways is the trade. It just looks like it might end up going down, to be honest. I don't see what's gonna turn it around unless you just get some of that the buyers that come back in and the volume expands and it takes it back over VWAP. But once it loses, then I think 485 would be next. Sorry.
It's okay. KZIA, this was mentioned earlier. This was one of those penny stocks from earlier here. This actually is at the top of the gainers list on the relative volume scanners. That had a huge move here away from VWAP. So KZIA, I know I said I wasn't going to trade that one. That one, bigger move here.
It's getting support from 42 cents. That was the pre-market high. As long as it holds that, there's should be some more upside in this. But I think that's the level you're going to want to watch for. A breakdown with that would be a little bit more bearish.
NAAS here. This is a curl, possible move back to the VWAP here. 488 your VWAP, currently just under 450 right there on NAAS. That was NAS Technologies. Webcoin, it looks like you're on that one. Jay mentioning, sorry to roll you over here. Jay mentioning SMCI loose and wide, but it looks like the dip is getting bought. Indeed here, looks like we actually kind of tested those lows twice here this morning, and this is getting bought up. Maybe we can move back above 900 here on SMCI. Go ahead.
SMGX, it's putting in a bit of a tweezer bottom here, so this might be turning around. Watch for it to move through some of this supply that was in the pre-market here in the 8 handle.
Okay, SNGX. Jay's Life mentioning EA here. This is Electronic Arts. This moving up here. This is this an interesting play. They're the ones that are going to be do the really popular sports games. And I've had a number of people this year that I didn't really think were into college football tell me how excited they are that the NCAA college football game is making its return. And in fact, I think that release is soon. Let me look that up here. I wonder if this move here, I'm just spitballing, but let me see if this
corresponds to like the release date.
Yeah. Thank you for finishing my thoughts for me, 13. That was awesome.
No worries. I think I knew what you were after there. Looking at the daily chart, it does look like we're actually coming up to
July 16. Early access, July 16. We are 6 days away. I knew it was close. So, this is some of the stuff that I do in terms of like figuring out if something's popular is just kind of like word of mouth. Like I try to look at different crowds of people that have different interests and determine how prevalent this is. I'm surprised at how many non-sports fanatics have been kind of talking about this and how excited they are about this. I wonder if this is a huge mover. Now let me pull EA up here in Pro and see if we have any other news that I might be missing.
Another thing about EA is that once they've got a good number of people into one particular game, let's say, for example, the one you're talking about, they are going to microtransact the hell out of them.
Yes, they are.
They are going to offer skins. They're going to offer these little special things that have literally no impact on playing the game.
Mascot celebrations.
Mascots. There you go. It's going to be all these little stupid things that are going to cost like $5, $10, $20. Has no bearing on how the game's played, but it's just more, visual excitement for the player. They microtransact the hell out of their games. That's what.
Yeah, they do. Okay, couple of things here. So let's take a look here at EA. First of all, here's a look at your insiders. It is all selling, folks. All selling. I have that alarm going off here. I'll go fix it here in a sec. All insider sales here on Electronic Arts. Now, one thing, yesterday they announced they are going to have their earnings here July 30th. So we got the early release of the NCAA football game, July 16th, earnings here on July 30th. Here's a chart. I'm going to step away here and turn this alarm off real quick. I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
No actually, this looks like a potential breakout spot. BRB.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming up to the same area of resistance, which is just around, it's in the mid 140s that it keeps getting rejected. So I think that's why there's a concern here that this may not break out. On the other hand, they stand to make more money if this is going to be a successful game for them. So I believe that's the gamble right now. I don't know if we're going to continue to break out and get above 151. That seems to be the goal here, and it's possible. I won't say it's not. I just don't have enough research done or information on this to feel confident that enough to say, oh yeah, this is definitely going over 151. Especially if you have insider selling. When were they selling? So they've been selling this month. At least it's when they were filing. So it could have been last month as well. It's had a great run. Just manage expectations. You might it could be great. It could break out, but manage your expectations. I think the insider selling was a really good point.
Okay. Just joining you here. Wanted to see what you guys thought about that on EA. I'll watch this one. Honestly, I will watch this one. I'm curious to know how this does here. I'm just kind of looking at this chart. It does kind of look to my eye like it wants to go higher. I'm kind of biased, I suppose, but this does look like it wants to try and push higher.
Yep. If it can make its way through the rest of the 140s, I think 151 is going to be the spot to watch for.
Okay. Hey, good stuff there on Electronic Arts, ticker EA.
Tom V. I think the other one was N. Is it N? I'm sorry. Maybe you'll have to help me there, Ryan. What was the
sure.
DSP?
The other what?
The Tim had. Sorry.
Tim's two picks. The tickers for Tim's two picks here today. Ticker DSP was the first one. APEI, the number one adult education company for U.S. military and veterans, and the number two educator for federal employees.
Oh, there we go. Thank
There
you.
you go. That's one of the other things. You guys will see me during that. I'm kind of taking notes here. A lot of the time, I can't remember all the different tickers, especially when they're new issues that I've never really followed before. I will definitely try and take some notes there. So happy to answer any of those questions that you have. Shoe names are rolling over. Croc, Deck, ONON, finally hitting them. Nike is hitting them. So, okay, so here's my question on that one, Jay. You're saying that the Nike move down is starting to pull some of the other stocks down, which I totally get. Do you think that some of these others might actually represent a better potential buy than Nike? I mean, Nike to me seems like it's leading the way to the downside, right? Would you, and given what you were saying earlier about not wanting to own Nike, I think to me it seems like you'd be more tempted to buy some of the other shoe names as they trade down into a support level. Am I correct in that? Because that makes sense. You're welcome, Tom. No problem.
Looks like LGVN's trying to make the move over VWAP right now. It might be worth watching here.
CarMax also higher. I know we talked about Carvana earlier. Carvana's rolled over. Wow, big reversal here in Carvana. This actually might go red. Green to red move here if this keeps up. CarMax at the highs. Sorry, 13. What was that ticker again?
Oh, that was LGVN. I think I was just mentioning that it's trying to make an attempt for getting over VWAP right now.
Yeah, it sure is. Jay, you're saying you're buying, or Jay's Life. This is a different Jay. So we got the fight of the Jays here. I'd buy Nike all day here. You know what? I'll let you have all that volume, Jay. I am not interested in Nike at all. Amanda with an interesting idea here. It would be fun to do a Melvin Anne Marie mashup and find out how she would use options to trade Melvin stocks. Well, some of those Tim Melvin stocks don't have liquid options chains. So that would create a problem for those individual names. But otherwise, this is actually a pretty good idea. I wonder if I could pitch this to those two. Let me screenshot your feedback here, because this is an interesting idea. And the other thing is that's going to give you more ways to kind of play those names. The one caveat that I'll say here is that most of those Tim Melvin plays are long time frames, much longer time frames. And when you're dealing with options, I guess you probably should be dealing with some shorter term trades. Otherwise, I'd just say, why not own the equity? But nonetheless, this is a decent idea here. We might be able to do something like that. So let me keep that under my hat here, Amanda. Spiro Bill saying Nike has lost a lot of upper management talent in the last year or so. My target is 50. You know, it's interesting that you bring up that $50 target, because I believe there was someone else from our happy hour session that was also saying they were getting the cash cannon ready if this thing goes to 50. I know our group spent a lot of time talking about that 60, 65 area here, but here's what you're talking about, Spiro Bill. Let me make sure I got your name. I did. Here's that 50 line. In fact, you know what I'll do is I'll draw this on here. I don't think this is going to be the last time that we talk about Nike on this show here. So let me go ahead and put some of these levels in here, and then I'll go ahead and update my layout so that it's all saved here.
So one thing I can see from the $50 level right off the bat is that was the peak of the end of 2014, beginning of 2015. And as soon as we broke through that became support, and it has been support ever since. So I think that's why it's such an interesting level. You can look and see that after 2015, every time that the price came down to there, it was there to catch it. Did that in the middle of 2015, did that in 2016, and moved off of there. So yeah, that's a really good spot. If it gets down there, I would definitely be buying down there as well. just a matter of whether or not that actually does happen. That would have to be, there would need to be something else here than just what Nike's been reporting. There'd have to be another, I think there'd have to be like another bad earnings or something, or some other catalyst in order to get down there. But
okay, here, these two blue lines down here, this is going to be your 50 to 65 area. You can actually see we consolidated in this area from 2016 to 2018. So a 2-year consolidation area as well. Despite me not liking the company or the product, I still think that this would actually be a decent buy zone anywhere in here, 65 to 50.
Yeah, that's the whole demand zone there for
yeah.
for the longest time. So, and we already had a near test of it back in when the pandemic started. Matter of fact, we kind of went right down there, just under 60, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Really good stuff there on Nike. I do want to take a look at some of these other. Oh wait, no, not on semiconductor. ONON, that's the shoe, right? Yes. Here is ONON. Crocs was another one, Jay, that you had mentioned. This chart actually doesn't look all that bad. Crocs, this doesn't look all that bad either. It looks like we've kind of got an uptrend here. Okay.
Well, Crocs just lost the 50-day SMA, and that's it's had.
Actually, you're right. I should have zoomed in a little bit more there.
It's had 3 closes, and now today is the 4th day underneath the 50-day SMA, and this is kind of what happens when it can't reclaim that moving average. So this probably will end up coming down to, let's say this comes down another $10 from here, finds fills that gap from May, and finds support down 129 or just around there in that handle. But when that happens, then I think that'll be a great opportunity to get this. So we'll see what happens with that. It's just looking a little bit bearish right now. Crocs.
Okay. Spiro Bill here adding some more context to what we're talking about. I've been bearish on Nike since late 2021. Their debt was outrageous, and other issues about labor in China bothered me. Those labor issues still bother me. They got a host of other problems there. Good stuff, Spiro. But good job sticking with it too, right? Yeah. Okay, Tuna is going to break the keyboard here. VPRX, or is that VRPX? Excuse me, VRPX. Apologize for mixing that one up. Let's take a look at that and see if we have a move here. Hey, are we going to bust out here, Tuna? 299, 3.
Oh yeah, it's curling up to take that.
We're gonna take this out.
339. Looks like it's. I mean, if it continues to go up, it's gonna have a date with 339.
I'll try some here. I'll just blame it on Tuna if it doesn't work. That's an easy one. We'll see if this falls out here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see. What do we got here? GME. I don't think I want to hold it all the way down to 279. I'll flip over to GME here in a sec.
Okay. Yeah, it's trying to push up again. That's all.
Actually, let me just take a look at it real quick here. Here is GME. Let's see if we go back to those highs. Sure looks like it. Good mention here, GME. Come on, VRPX. Let's bust through 3 here.
KB asking, what do you guys think of ERJ?
To bring that up here real quick.
Okay, so it's had some pretty good movement over the past couple of days.
Embraer, I do like their planes. I often take these planes when I'm traveling to Detroit. They're good. Despite being small, that's not easy for me to say. Being someone that's 6'3" and a larger dude, small planes generally not good. Those Embraer planes are pretty nice.
Okay, so Wednesday on the 3rd of July, got a price target raise to 29. Guess what? We're over that now. What's funny is that's right around the time it started turning around. So that price target really helped this. Now what happens? Does it come back in now that it's reached the price target? Looks like it still might be able to push up higher, but it has the high of 31.12 that it put in on May 17th to contend with. So that would be the next.
Powell saying U.S. fiscal path is unsustainable, by the way.
What is?
U.S. fiscal path.
Oh, yeah.
Their fiscal path is unsustainable.
Yeah, well, that's for Congress to figure out. The Fed's done all they really can. They really are trying to push Congress to actually doing something because, the Fed's trying to pull every lever they can. They pull too many, they're going to cause problems. It really comes down to what Congress is going to do. And unfortunately, we have one of the most dysfunctional Congresses that we've ever had.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm just reading the headlines here. Here we go on VRPX. We're at that 299. That block that's there, if that snaps, I would imagine we pop through it. We can kind of lighten this on the way through. See if we end up getting that there. Actually, I'm going to lower this to a trim size
GMRE.
in case we trim. Here we go. Here we go. There's 3. Let's go through it. Let's go through it there.
GMRE is blasting
They
off.
yanked
My
it.
fault.
They yanked it. You got to be kidding me. What a, let's see if we got another move here through that level. 303, 305 maybe. And you're looking at GMRE.
It's exploding.
I'm
sorry,
not GME. I was going to say
GME.
GMRE. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah. I was like, dude, that is a really good dividend play that I own. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's take a look at it since I said it. GMRE needs to hold that 50-day SMA. Okay, great. Back to this. Yeah, GME. It's GMRE without the R. This one just pushed up to 26.45.
Yuck. VRPX. Yuck. Come on. Well, taking an L here on that one.
Chewy is also trying to push over its VWAP.
Now that we're at 280, I'll just wait this out. Goodbye. VRPX is gone. That day trade did not work. 0 for 2 here today. Since we've been on camera here, I scalped Longeveron this morning. That barely even counts. Tell you what, man, you guys it might be a good idea to just take the inverse of any day trade I take. At this point, I seem to lose every single one that I take. It is literally driving me crazy. Driving me crazy.
Chewy breaking out of VWAP. Trying to anyway. Still have time left on this candle. Len, the part of the problem is some of these business people are wokesters.
And they're not going to change either. LNTH hit 100. Congrats, Jay. That was such a good move. Man,
Fairchild. Oh, that was a good one. That was a zinger.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe this will be, if you've ever thought that the universe. Okay, yeah. I see. I could probably morph this into one of the openers there. I swear to God, it feels like that. Like I wake up and I feel like I'm being watched. It is an awful feeling. It's really why I've tried a number of things. I've tried dialing back the positions. I've tried trading other setups. I've tried adjusting I've literally tried to do so much. I mean, normally when I'm trading some of these smaller caps, I'm trading 2,000 to 5,000 share lots a piece. I'm trading 100, 200 shares. And it's just, man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. If you had told me that doing this live was this hard when we had started this project, I probably would have passed on it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
QURE, any mentioned by KB. Everybody that was trading this one, great job this morning. You guys are killing it in this one. Yeah, Chewy through VWAP. See if it holds. The thing about QURE, and it's got a decent size float, so I don't think you're gonna see a huge knife in this one, but it is pretty extended. On the 5-minute chart, you might see some pullback coming here soon. Peggy trying to push up as well. Volume still meh. LGV is done, or LGVN is done. Let me take a look.
Yeah, let me bring that up.
Oh, yeah, that one just knifed. So going down to 65 EMA at 442.
Smoke Tuna, you were saying earlier, I think when we were testing the VWAP again here, this at this point must have been a while ago. What time was that? God, I cannot see anything on this monitor. Holy cow. Holy cow. What is the time there? So that was, 9 o'clock Central Time? So we're looking at 10. So 48 minutes ago, I believe that you said this one looked like this was done, and now you're getting confirmation of that, right? Confirmation of that. Zap, wish they had options. Yeah, I bet. Where did we end up finishing up there on Zap? Okay, we're coming back in after that huge push yesterday.
And that's a pretty steady sell-off for Zap, and they don't have too many shares in the float. I would have thought they would have come down a lot harder than that.
Seems got a LNTH going for 102. Jay Rice, you all out of this yet? Are you 100% out of this trade? Or are you still holding on to a trailer there? Market Sniper, awesome. Look, if you're making more money, awesome. Keep it up.
Okay. Let's take a look at Bitcoin today and see what that's doing. It's been a weak day for Bitcoin, but it looks like it's trying to find a bottom. Maybe we'll see some better price action after the lunch hour. We'll see.
Look at the price action on Amazon.
I saw somebody mentioning that it was weak. Let me take a look here. So it lost a 200 handle pretty vigorously. So,
hey, Glovey, look, if nothing else, I'm consistent. And let me tell you something, consistency there, that is how you can add those gains. So there you go, man. Just do whatever it takes to make yourself some more money. If it's a contrarian, if I'm a contrarian indicator to that, I will take it.
So did we actually get a lock on what is the reason why we're seeing this down? Is it because Bezos sold more shares? Is that the reason?
I mean, maybe. I mean, this is like I guess it's important to put this into context, isn't it?
I think so. What's the reason for this this drop?
Well, here's the context that I'm talking about. I mean, like, is this look? We literally ran up recently, and we're pulling back what, less than 1% here. I mean, I don't even know that this is any major pullback.
Well, so I was just looking at some of the other days here, and we got something similar that happened on Wednesday, July 3rd. And we knew that was going into the long weekend, or not necessarily the weekend, but there was a holiday and then the weekend after one more day of trading. But now we're going into the CPI print. So I'm wondering if this is just going to be one of those things where it drops, consolidates, and then after the print's out, we see what happened the next day, or the next trading day, which is on July 5th, where it reclaims all that was lost. I'm just kind of wondering if that's what we're seeing here, because I'm not sure exactly what this this move down is over. KZIA, I have on my screen for some reason. It's trying to push up. Looks like it wants 50 cents.
Indeed, that looks like that is going for that.
Amazon Prime Day is coming up.
16 and 17. That's going to be next week. I think Tuesday and Wednesday is 16 and 17. Yes.
Looks like GME might be putting in
you kept going.
Another flag. It's pulling back from that spike that it just had here about 10 minutes ago. So if it kind of needs to hold right about here. I think if we get down to VWAP, that's going to make it look a little bit weaker. But we'll see. Looks like Archer is having a good day. There's that. Okay, KZIA, what are you going to do? You're going to give us 50 here? There
Archer, a little bounce back from its down move yesterday.
49 cents in KZIA.
There's 50.
Rango, moving averages change and use multiple time frames because they're all based okay, there's 50 in KZIA. They're all based on the current time frame you are. So the movie, let's say you have a 20 SMA, it's going to be every 20 candles that you see on the on that particular chart. So based on the price action of those previous 20 candles, it's going to give you the average of what that is, and it's going to move it to that particular location, and that's how they fluctuate between different time frames. It's all about the number of candles that you're looking at with the moving average.
Yeah. So one of the things that you'll see, especially like in TradingView, like here you go. We've got multiple moving averages here. This is a daily chart, so it's okay to call these a 200-day. But the reality is, like, if you go, and I don't know, maybe not every platform is the same, but if you go into this and you're actually looking to kind of change some of this, like these are bars effectively, right? So whatever chart you have is how many bars that moving average is, right? So that's actually why it doesn't have DMA in the study list, right? It's simple moving average, and then the number of bars determines how that average is calculated.
KZIA exploding out of this 50-cent handle. No, it's not really a handle. It's a level, but 50 cents. Just moving up now like crazy. That was a really good breakout.
Let me go back to trade the pool here real quick.
Did you take
over to futures fever?
Had you taken a look at INOD lately?
I saw it yesterday. It was running up, printed almost 18, but came back in a little bit here today.
Yeah, it's coming back in a little bit. This price action looks like it might be cooling off a bit. I think it may be coming back down to visit $16. But that was I was just curious because I had seen that it ran up a couple days ago. Well, it looks like things are really kind of. I mean, SNGX. This thing is just done for. Back down to where it was when it initially popped in the pre-market.
And remember, this was actually on a recent run. This has some more air beneath it. This thing came from $2. Alyssa asking, are Prime Day deals even good? This would be actually a good discussion topic here for the group. We can kind of relate that to Amazon stock. I'd be curious to know if you folks buy anything on Prime Day. If you do, what is it that you buy? I don't think I mean, we'll see what happens on Prime Day, but I mean, I just kind of bought some stuff for the griddle, so I think I might pass this year.
That's okay. You know what? That's interesting. If there might be a lot more people that are passing on Prime Day.
Yeah, every time I go on and look for a deal, it's not worth it.
And here's the other thing, Alyssa. I don't know if you've come across this. Looking at them now, good deals on stuff I don't want. That's my big problem too. Like I'll see sometimes like minus 60%, and I'm like, oh, sweet deal, and it's on like baby diapers. It's like I don't care. Yeah, it's like I don't want that. So that's always the big thing with these Prime Day sales. It seems like they're trying to just unload unwanted inventory.
Yeah, a lot of useless junk, really.
Now, occasionally I do, like I got an infrared thermometer, I think on the Black Friday, and I think I got it for like $15. This thing's normally like $60, and I use it now every day, almost every day that I use the griddle. But that's few and far between.
Yeah, that a few and far in between, even like on no Prime Day kind of deals. Like, it was just that random thing. You're like, oh yeah, that's it.
I'll buy it and maybe use it one day. You're never going to use it. KZI pushed up to 60 cents. Doesn't look like it's quite finished yet, but
Amazon's annual garage sale. Oh, I love that.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna start.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I think that might be interesting to watch, just to see what it does. See if that theory holds up, because it sounds pretty good.
Zunade.
What is going on?
Top rope.
What is going on? You know, I've always wondered. Actually, I did try wrestling, like a little bit for a clip.
Like wrestling or wrestling?
No, it was just like for a content skit thing.
Okay. You were the flying Soulman?
Yes, I was. Oh man.
13's like, yeah, I nailed that one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was good. That was baller. What's up? What are you guys trading?
Whatever's moving. Had some good trades in, I believe LGVN was one of them. Yes.
LGVN is the only positive day trade I had, man. I had a rough day, Zune. The market was coming for me.
All right, well, that's unfortunate.
That was the big winner for me today was LGVN. I also had a trade in VRPX. I think I did one other one. Chewy. I closed the position there that I was holding on to.
Are you trading that because of the volatility brought by Mr. Keith Gill?
Or yes, a little bit. Yeah.
Other,
it's
anyway.
I prefer to trade this one because at least I know this is a good company. I don't really like GME or AMC. So if I get caught in those, then I'm not going to be happy with myself. But I could do something else with Chewy if it doesn't work out. But I'm not in it anymore, so I've already got positive. I'm good.
Gotcha. All right, awesome. Well, any final thoughts from you two before we head on over to Futures Fever? And again, you don't need to go anywhere, guys and gals. You can just stay on the stream. But Ryan, 13, any final thoughts?
Have a good day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good rest of your day. Hope the volume kicks up. We'll see.
Awesome. Sweet. Appreciate you both. See ya. All right, we'll go ahead and get things moving on with a little bit of Futures Fever. If it's your first time here, well then, hello, welcome. Futures Fever is a show where we go ahead and, you know what, I'd like to be Gates, but at the moment, my name is not Gates. So that's what we'll go with right there. Look at that. Futures Fever, it's a show where I go ahead and trade live futures with you. And you'll kind of see me kind of do that here. Of course, the sponsor of this show is Apex. I'm going to tell you a quick little insight on what Apex is, how it works, and we'll get right back into the trading action. Apex is a valuation prop firm where you pretty much go ahead and pay for an eval. Once you pass that eval, you can then go ahead and get funded with the account. A lot of people will be like, oh, wow, I can go ahead and get, what is the, there we go. I can get a $50,000 account for like $50 or whatever. No. You got to take a look at the drawdown, right? So you pay, I think they have 80% off right now, as you can see. Use the promo code Fever, use the link in the QR code as well. But you can go ahead and get an account for say $40. The 50,000 is what I trade. You'll see me do that here live in a moment. Then you get $3,000 in profit. Then you can pay about $100 a month or $165 for the lifetime total, $165. And so for about $200, you get access to what is called a $50,000 account. But I like to look at it as $200 gets you a drawdown of $2,500. So that's what Apex is. Check them out. I use them personally. And yes, this show is sponsored by Apex, but I pay with my own money to get the evals. I pay with my own money for the funded accounts. Benzinga doesn't reimburse me. Apex doesn't reimburse me. It's me, myself, and I. And it's time for us to go ahead and trade. So this is a $50,000. You can see it's PA, which means it's a funded account. $50,000 is what I started with. I'm up about $1,200 on this one. And I'm kind of eyeing the ES there to see if we can go ahead and get a bit of a move. Let me see what we're okay there. We're going to see if we can crack this level. You can see we had resistance. We popped above. It held as support, is holding on as support at the moment as well. I want to see how this 15-minute candle closes. And of course, while we trade futures, we also go ahead and take a look at different stocks that we want to partake in as well. So I'm going to go to the NQ, then I'll take a look at a couple of other different things. I'm going to remove this because this line no longer applies. We'll see if this here ends up holding on to support or not. And if we get a little bit of a bounce, let's see. By the way, I know there's about 15 of you that actually emailed me about the trading competition. I literally have you in a folder. So as soon as we go live, which I'm really hoping I get the green light on Friday so I can come to work on Monday and just go gung-ho about marketing it. The trading competition won't be till like say September. However, you'll get a new show from me by the end of next week where I'll be depositing money into this broker's account and I will trade stocks with y'all. I will trade options with you. So it should be a fun time. But for now, I'm locked in on the future side of things. See if we get a little bit of a bounce here. Let's take a look at some other stocks. I know Tesla, I mean, what a monster this thing was, right? Kind of beating down in the 140s, I think it was, before the earnings. I mean, it's going to be a minute till I can go back and take a look at it. What was it at? Maybe I was wrong with the 140s. No, I don't think I was. Yeah, there it is, 140s earlier in April. And then just continues to chug on to the highs. By the way, if you guys see me bobbing and weaving my head, it's because I've got a new jam that I'm jamming out to right now. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know if they're curse words. I don't know if they're what it is, but it's stuck in my head. And if you're interested to listen to it, it's in the chat. Actually, I won't put it in the chat because I don't know if it has curse words, but it's FA9LA. If you YouTube that, you'll see the song. Okay. All right. Let's see. That's what we've got on Tesla. We'll set an alert there in case it wants to jump back. We actually traded Tesla live here. I think it was on Monday. We traded Tesla contracts, made money out of it. That was sick. Let's see if we are AMC. I heard GME was moving, and wow, yeah, GME. Ooh, no. We got to get into some. We got to get into some GME here. Look at GameStop. I've been waiting for this 25 pop. We finally got it. Oh man, this retest would have been nice, but it didn't come all the way down. What are you guys thinking? You guys and gals into GameStop, or you're kind of like, it's burned me too many times this year. I'm out. I'm not dealing with it. Not dealing with the emotions of GameStop. Let's see what we got here. No. Man, this hood just needs to like go. I'm kind of annoyed of this range. I don't know if Elon is in the chat anymore. I don't know if Elon left, but like, can we get out of this, please? We've been here for like almost 2+ weeks. Can we please get out? Can we just go? Just break it. I've got my alert set here as well because I want to add some calls on the break of this because I want to reach my target of 25. But we just continue to stay in this range. It's sad. It's sad. I don't like to see it. I think their earnings are coming up, obviously, in August, so that'll be fun to see. Speaking of earnings, you got Tesla earnings that are coming up, I believe, later this month, and you've also got Jumia. This is someone who we might have on a call or on an interview. Would you guys like to see Jumia come on the show? They're about $1 billion company, I believe. Obviously, hasn't been a fun ride as of late. But I don't know. It's got me intrigued. I know that much. Yeah, Fairchild, you'd like that? Okay. Perfect. I will reach out to my people, aka myself, and see if we can make that happen. Yeah? Awesome. Sweet. Appreciate it. Do me a favor. If we could be cheesy for a second, if you could just type in, we want to see Jumia for an interview. That'd be great. So I can take a screenshot and I can send it to Jumia and be like, hey, our people like us. We'd love to have you on. All right. Anyway, let's get back and see what's happening here. Ooh, look at that. Held the support. You know what's interesting? If this, depending on how this candle closes here on the 15, I might go long with a stop loss right here. But how many points is that, though? Let's see. If I go with a stop loss here, that's not 17. Let's bring out the calculator. $50, 17. That's about $850. Okay, yeah, no, that's a little too rich for my blood. I typically like to risk anywhere between $250 and $500. When's Sandra coming back? This Friday. So Sandra was busy a couple of weeks ago. Our staff, because of 4th of July, was kind of out of office, like the production staff in the back last Friday. So unfortunately, back-to-back Fridays, we've missed her. But she will be back this Friday, unless she's busy. But I'll be here, and it'll be fun to see what trade she's always up to. She always has great insights, and we're working on some educational content for y'all as well. But look at that. Nice little bounce on the ES. Continues to go from the level that we drew. And wow, would you look at that? The NQ bouncing from the support that we drew as well. But look, drawing crayons and lines is easy. I didn't take the trade. So, what's that say about me? By the way, thank you, Fairchild. I appreciate that. I appreciate you helping me out. I will send that screenshot to Jumia as soon as we get done here. Is anyone else waiting to short NVIDIA, but you're scared to death that the time may never come and you'll just continue losing money? Because I am. Like, I haven't shorted it yet for a swing trade, but I'm definitely wanting to. That's not good enough. Disney. I know this tested $100 and it just failed. Yep, there it is on Monday. So earlier this month, tried to test 100. It said, nope, downside we go. By the way, I don't know if anyone Googled that song I was talking about, but if you did, let me know if you like it. All right, we're going to keep an eye on Tesla and see if it cracks above. I haven't looked at oil in a bit. Let me take a look at oil. Nah, I don't want that. Let's get rid of this. Nah, it's not much there for me. Nothing concrete. Yeah, there's not much here. Let's go to the 4-hour. Remove my drawings. Nah. I don't like it. I'm just forcing colors at this point. All right, give me some stocks to review. I'll take a look at some stocks that you guys want your confirmation bias on and see if I can help you make some money, help you lose some money, whatever it is that happens. It's not my control. Please don't sue me. I don't have a lot of money. Qs. If this gets to like 500 again. Oh, it did. Did it get to that 500 today? Oh, it did. It did. There's that 500. You know what? I am curious if I should. What do you guys think about me getting... Okay, perfect. I appreciate the tickers. I see them. I'll get to them here in a moment. What do y'all think about me going short the Qs? Call it $4.99 puts that expire, say, next week. I'm curious if this 500 is going to end up staying resistance. I mean, look at this. Just upside, 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 you know? And I'm curious if we kind of get a little breather and we come down. What are y'all thinking? Where are you from originally? From me asking? I don't mind you asking at all. I was born in Hyderabad, India. I moved to New York when I was about 9. I moved to Atlanta when I was about 12. I went to Houston for school, dropped out, and then I came back to Georgia. There you go. You asked where I was from, and I gave you my whole docs history. All right, I'm actually going to see about getting these Qs puts. Let me see what that looks like. Oh, man, we've lost about $112 on our hood contracts for the day. Oh, very cool. I assume it's pronounced Samir. At least that's how I pronounce it. I'm not quite sure how it goes. Too volatile with incoming CPI and PPI? That's a good call. That's a good call. Let's see what it looks like, though. Contract expiring on the 19th. Oh, not bad. They're about $4. I think I can risk $4. All right, I'm gonna buy this contract. I'm gonna buy one contract on the Qs for the puts, and again, if it breaks like 501 or whatever, I will leave it be. All right, I just got some Qs puts. The $4.99 puts expiring July 19th. $421 with commission is what I paid. So call that whatever that is. Call it $421, I guess, because I pay about 20 cents in commission. Okay, now let's get to the ticker time. NKE. So Nike, you saw, I think I traded Nike earlier this week. I don't know if it was with y'all or not, but you can see you had a massive drop. Support was 74.31. We tried to test that support, obviously did not do anything and came back down. So to me, if you're looking to go short, this 75 above is your risk off, you know, is what it is. So just a heads up on that. In terms of, hey, where's support below? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't feel comfortable with anything above 67. I think 67 is where I could be interested, right? Then 60. So let me actually put that puppy there. Yeah, like I'll stay in Georgia sometimes. Sometimes I'll go to Houston. Thankfully, with the flexibility of work, as long as I get my stuff done, I'm able to kind of see friends and family and whatnot. Anyway, that's what I've got on Nike. I said Mikey. Let me continue seeing if this trade. I kind of want to take it. Where's VWAP on this though? VWAP is there. See what I'm afraid if it's going to touch VWAP and then come down. But you see the volume has picked up on this 15-minute. Then the previous two, nice little. Well, it was a hammer. Now I don't know what. I don't know if it's going to finish as a hammer. But let's see. Let's see if this ends up. I'll take a look at the other stocks, by the way. I took a look at Nike. I'll take a look at Snow and etc. here in a moment. I just want to place a trade since this is a futures show. And by the way, I know I talked about like possibly doing a newsletter. I still plan on doing that by the end of July. Just figuring some things out with Benzinga, see how that goes. So if you guys are interested, you can follow me. Let me actually put my Twitter handle here so you guys can follow me. I'll probably create a different Twitter handle just because that Twitter handle that I just have on my screen name of MadeX in X India is for esports related stuff. I might create another one just fresh. I appreciate that, Dolores. Thank you. Yeah. Thankfully, like Ryan, AB, everyone who's on the show, they're transparent with their making money. You just saw Ryan talk about how he had a bad day, right? Money wise. Okay. Do I want to get in? Do I want to get in? You know what? I don't want to get in with, let me go with the MNQ. What does that look like? Oh, there might be the different months though as a situation there. These month things always trip me up. All right, someone who trades futures, let me know why I should not go long here, because to me this is looking good. The only thing I don't like is that this didn't close green. I think that's one of the main reasons I'm going to stay away from this one. But if it closed green, I would go long. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone. Let me take a look at the other stocks y'all had. Let's take a look at SNU. So quite easily, you can see you had support, broke, retested it, failed. And you can see how this candle closed on the daily. And that to me, and I promise, this isn't just hindsight. You heard me kind of talk about it through the other things that we mentioned. This to me is a short with a stop loss right above this. And unfortunately, we've missed this trade, right? There's no question we've missed this trade. Now we are in what I would call no man's land. And the next opportunity I see for a bounce would be around the 120. Or if we get above 145, then my stop loss would be a couple of bucks below, with about 149, 150 being my target area. That's what I have on Snow. Just my personal opinion on it. I think there was something else in this. Similar thing here. You have a gap to close above where we currently try to go. So this is actually nice. Go ahead and set an alert. So I want to mention about the commercials. I don't know if Ryan got a chance to or not. The commercials, again, this is something that, as a company, they wanted us to try new things. We gave them feedback and, we got a little pushback and we said, okay, look, we'll test it and we'll report back with any feedback. It was every 6 to 10 minutes. Now we've moved it to every 30 minutes. So you shouldn't be hit with ads for more than 30 minutes. However, we are continuously working to get sponsors like Apex so that we can provide you content that's informational, that you can make the best decisions on your trading and investing activity, so that I can go to the bosses and say, hey, look, we brought in this revenue. Let's not run ads, right? So we told you to bear with us. We've been working on it. We went from 10 minutes to every 30 minutes. And I'm really hoping that here in a couple of weeks, I can go back to my bosses and say, hey, I'd like to not run ads, please. And we'll see what they say. Feedback from y'all is always, always appreciative. But on SEDG, set an alert. If it cracks 29, target for me would be around 31s or so. I expect some resistance there. Then maybe you can take a short with a stop loss around 34s or so. That's what's going on there. What's my Twitter handle? My Twitter handle is MadeX in X India. Do I know when Apex will offer 90% off? I don't actually. I thought they might have for the 4th of July. I don't think they did for 4th of July, but I know I think they're cooking something up. I don't know. We've got a meeting with them in a couple of weeks to see. Every couple of weeks we talk to them, see what's coming on, see what's going on. And I know they're working on some cool stuff. So I don't know, to answer your question. I don't know what 90% off is, but to me, if it's 80% off, I go ahead and get them. If it's 70% off, it's still great value. But that 80% is always juicy to me. So I would personally, take advantage of the 80%. Especially because it's still 1 day to pass. That's the biggest thing. So if you go ahead and reach your profit target, you don't have to reach it in 1 day, but if you reach your profit target in a day, I think it's an amazing opportunity to take advantage of this. And as you can see, this says 21 days, but obviously they can always come back and say, hey, 90% off. I've never seen them go lower when they have this type of timer, is my thing. So I think you can take advantage of 80%. That's my personal opinion. Of course, do what you do. I think you save maybe about $13 maybe if you wait for the 90% off. For me personally, I'm okay spending a little bit more so that I can start trading and get active. All right, cool. Let's go back to the NQ and see how that's performing. See, just a little hesitant. If this candle closed green, I would have been in a trade. What a beautiful trade this was, though. Curious if this ends up being a double bottom. Of course, you're absolutely welcome. Yeah, I've thought about starting a newsletter, but my biggest thing is I don't know if people still read newsletters, right? Because the newsletter would end up being, here are my 3 trade ideas that I'm looking at for the week, and to be completely free, because I think what I've noticed is, and I think Triple D actually mentioned this on a call that we were on yesterday, that he becomes a better trader. He becomes a better investor in the markets because now he's forced to come up with great ideas that he can share with people. And that added pressure, that added accountability can make you a better trader. And I think that's kind of what I'm looking for, is obviously to create content. I want my own audience and, all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I've shied away from the influencer role just because it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big flashy Lambo guy, whatever. You know what I mean? I still wear a Fossil watch because I like them. And that's what I got when I was in college, when I was celebrating good things in life. So I'm a simple guy. But I don't know. I think I'm kind of holding myself back. So I might do a newsletter. I might just post charts, content, because I definitely miss engaging with our community and whatnot. But okay. There were some other tickers that I think folks wanted me to take a look at. KZIA. That's not what I typed in, though, is it? No, it's not. Woo! Hello. All right. Right off the bat, not the type of ticker that I trade. However, how can you deny this? And again, this isn't hindsight. You guys have seen me long enough to know that this is how I trade. Where's the resistance? Where's the pop? All right, I want to get in. Now, with a stock like this, I'm probably trading on the 2 minutes or the 5 minutes. I'm not really trading on the 15 for something like this. But man, just a beautiful pop. I think $1 can be resistance. So if you're looking to go short, I'm not, by the way. This isn't my cup of tea. I think 110 would kind of be my stop loss, which is quite a high. So the closer you get it to 1 to short, the better. If you're looking to go long, I think maybe around 64 cents, but I would much rather do 50 cents. Look at 50 cents too. You broke with oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. See, this is why I miss trading sometimes, man, because you get these nice ideas. Let's take a look at 50 cents here, okay? You saw resistance, right? Came back down, popped above. And then look at the volume increase. It is almost the highest volume of the day at that time. Obviously, the next bar went ahead, but at that time, right there, right? So you got a nice little pop, almost double the volume of the previous candle, and then you got a retest. And you got the 50 cent. Look, listen. I'm a big 50 Cent guy. I'm talking about the rapper. Grew up listening to him and Eminem when I was in my elementary days and middle school days, whatever. Beautiful, beautiful retest. This is where I would have gotten in with a stop loss of about 10, 13 cents. And I would have stopped out if it got there, would have taken my profits on a 1-to-1, then continue kind of trailing. And I promise you, yes, this is hindsight, but I'm walking you through the process of what I would have done and why I would have done it. Similar to kind of why I'm short the Qs for next week. 500 psychological level. We tried. I'm curious if this candle is going to close low a day, right? And then with the numbers coming out, if it ends up, your screen is not really clear. Is it because I have to zoom in? I think I might have to zoom in. Let me zoom in here. I hope that makes it better for y'all. Let me know if that makes it better. Blessing. But that's kind of the same reason that I wanted to go short the Qs, and I did go short. I got a put. If I was actively trading, I would have gotten more, but I'm not. I've got a full-time job here that keeps me busy. By the way, we've got VinoVest tomorrow. So if you've ever wanted to learn about how to invest in whiskey, tune into tomorrow's webinar that'll happen at 11 o'clock. So you'll still have live trading. You'll still get to hang out with 13 and Ryan. And then right afterwards, we will do a webinar on how to invest in whiskey. So the barrels and all that stuff. It's a cool concept. It's not something I'm familiar with. So when I was on these prep calls with the companies, I always learned something new. What volume indicator do you have? This is just regular volume. Like it's just, let me see if it shows you. It's just regular volume. There's nothing fancy about it. Hope that answers your question of what volume indicator am I using. Yeah, it's just regular volume, you know. Dolores, where did you learn your trading from? Okay, true story. And some of you may have heard it, so I'll kind of breeze through it. I used to work for mattress firms. I used to sell mattresses up until 2019. I was fired on I think October 31st, or maybe it was end of November or something like that. It was end of one of the months. I got fired, and I got fired because something shady was happening. And I asked my boss, hey, is it okay if I do this? I'm not quite sure. My boss gave me the green light. A week later, HR called me and said, hey, why'd you do this? I said, well, because Chris told me I could. They're like, do you have an email thread showing you? And I'm like, shit, I just got set up. And that boss wanted me gone because they wanted their buddy to be a part of their team and not me. It's okay. Anyway, the reason I share that is because I got fired on a Thursday. I hung out, had some muffin milk, ate my feelings on Friday. On a Monday, I lost $20,000 to $30,000 on this ticker right here. I bought it at around, and you can see I've charted this in the past. I bought it at right around here. Let me see if I can maybe go not 6 months, but let's go maybe 3 months. Yeah, let's go 1 month. Okay, I don't know why there's big ass arrows here, but good God, am I ever going to be able to show this? I don't even know. But anyway, you can see right around here is when because I've told this story many times. That's kind of when I purchased it. I purchased it around maybe $1, give or take. There you go. Yep. I purchased it here around $1. And then as you can see, it never fully recovered. I had to wait years to even break even a little bit. And then I finally got out. And as you can see, it's still not there. So to answer your question, Dolores, I learned by losing a lot of money. I learned by watching YouTube videos, and I learned by trial and error, which is one of the reasons I like Apex. And I promise I'm not just saying that because they're a sponsor, because you can spend about $200 and get a drawdown of $2,500 and see and have some skin in the game. You don't have hundreds of dollars. You don't have thousands of dollars, and you kind of get some skin in the game. That's why I like Apex. I think it's a great way to test your trading. As we got a nice little bounce. I was too big of a pansy to take this trade. It also happened right when I started the show. So work politics, always garbage. Yeah. I agree with you. Thankfully, one of the reasons that I love working here at Benzinga is that my bosses, the people that I report to, are individuals that look out for me. They give me tough love when I need it. But I respect them, and I go harder so that, because they vouch for me to come on full time, right? So I go harder to make sure that I don't make them look bad, so that I don't disappoint them. And of course, I got a chance to work with Ryan, AT, Malia, so many incredible individuals on the cool stuff that we do shows wise. And we've got some cool stuff coming. Trust that trading competition. I'm really excited for my own show. I'm really excited for as we just continue blasting off here. All right, now we go ahead and see if this is going to act as resistance for the day. So you know what I will do is I will go short here, 2 contracts, risk 500. Matter of fact, I don't need to actually have that big of a stop loss. Maybe I do. Yeah, I think I'm okay right there. A better entry is where I wanted to probably take this, but I'm going to see if we can come back and maybe take this here. Did it back. I'm going to see if... Oof, I didn't get filled because I was too late. But and the thing is, I'm not a great futures trader. I'm not, right? I always go up, I always go down. I haven't gotten a payout from Apex, not because Apex, but because I just am not as consistent of a trader with all my other responsibilities. I'm not able to focus, but I've got the best chance to not feel nervous when a trade is going against me because I know that I've risked $200. I'm okay with that. How was I introduced to trading? My parents were immigrants. I am an immigrant. And I saw how hard they worked. And I saw that their money wasn't making money for them. And I've always been a big point and click guy. So I always sold stuff on eBay. I always hustled. I always did random things that were questionable on the internet. Not like that. In terms of buying and selling, drop shipping and whatever else. And so that's just how I fell in love. My first stock that I ever purchased was Apple. And I remember watching, I think Apple at that point when I was in college, maybe around 2010, was around $500 a share. So I had $500. I put it in Apple and I would just watch it move and I'd be down $2. I'd be up $3 and it was quite nerve wracking. And then the biggest, oh my God moment was when I invested in Zipcar and they got bought out by Avis. I'm about to get stopped out here. And there you go. Stopped out. So always transparent. Lost $700. When I was on the show on Monday, we made $2,500. Today we lose $700. I'm always happy to be honest with y'all. But that's how I got into trading. I'm curious to see what I could have done better. One, I'm curious if this candle closes below the 56.50. And if it does, I'm wondering if I could have waited, been patient, entered the trade when this candle closed below, and then had my stop loss right above. That is hindsight for sure. What do you prefer between day trading stocks or options or swing trading and whatnot? I prefer day trading stocks, especially because I like to trade through TradingView sometimes. And so I will just set my stops, set my gains, my limit orders, all that stuff, and I'm good. But if you guys got a chance to watch my webinar with Sami Abusad, he's got an earnings package that I purchased, right, again with my own money. So the account that I'm actually going to fund, right, with my actual real, $30,000-$50,000, I'm going to trade earnings, and see what Sami has insights on. And again, if you guys want, you can check out Sami Abusad. I believe the deal that we have for them was t3live.com/deal. I believe that's still active for about another week. And they have a earnings seminar or some type of earnings explainer, like a deep dive on the 16th of July. So if you're going to take that package, you're going to take advantage of it. It's about $700 for the year, which comes out to about, what is that? Like 58, 60 bucks, $65 or so for the month. You have to pay all 700 up front, but that's the monthly breakdown that I have. And so I will trade stocks during earnings, but typically I just like the day trade. I get too much anxiety holding positions overnight. It's just not good for my health. And health is wealth. So anyway. All right, we're coming up at 500. We are coming up at 500. Let's see what my Q puts are at. They are currently down $34. I'm going to buy one more. I'll tell you exactly what my fill is. And again, I'm always transparent. So as soon as I place this order, you should see my E-Trade pop up. And there it is. Executed one Q's contract. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably can't. All right. Anyway, executed one more Q's contract expiring July 19th, 499 puts executed at 387, which means that my average price on the two contracts that I have is 404. Shout out ATL. Shout out Fila. $4.04 is my average cost on these two contracts. When will I get out of them? If we go ahead and break high a day, I will get out. But I will not swing two, though. I will only swing one contract. So whether I get stopped out, it fiddles in the middle, if it comes all the way down, whatever, I will get out of one contract today, no matter what. I am not swinging $800 in my small account. No, thank you. This is my fun account, have a good time account, and I don't want to mess with it. You know what's really funny? Every time I get logged out of my Benzinga email for security purposes, I always think I got fired. I'm like, how are you going to fire me when I'm on the show, man? Come on. All right. A little bit of a longer wick. Uh-oh. I'm going to laugh if this closes underneath it. AVGO is splitting. What are your thoughts on after the fact? Ads have been every 5 minutes. Wait, no way. No way. Let me check. Hold on. Let me check. I'm checking right now. Jay Michaels. Hang tight. You are right. Jay, you are correct. Someone changed my settings. I apologize. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I just changed it. I am so God. I just slacked my team a very polite what the heck thing because they're supposed to be every 30 minutes. I apologize. That should not be happening. My apologies. Bear with us. Yeah, it should be every 30 minutes, man. I'm sorry. I don't know who keeps messing with it. I don't know if someone's just trying to prank us within our company. But like every night I go in and I make sure it's every 30 minutes. I apologize. Thank you for bringing it to my attention though, because I just fixed it and I pinged our team and I said, yo, who's messing with this? Please stop. I appreciate it. Yeah, just hang tight while we do what we're asked, but you know, we will find alternatives and we will fix it. For now, I'm waiting to see how this candle closes. It's already 11:30, so I'm kind of past my time with y'all here. Oh shoot, am I late for a meeting? No, my meeting's not till. I'll hang out with you guys a little bit longer if you want. My meeting's in about 5 minutes or so, but yeah. Thank you, Dolores. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's take a look at AVGO. Gregory mentioned AVGO as well. Now, look, I don't have the best post-split strategy. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have that. So this strategy or this idea that I'm about to spit out is not split related. And I also don't know what the heck the chart will. I mean, the chart should look the same. But I'm saying what I'm about to give you my thoughts on is not split related. It's just looking at the chart. So you can see if we go ahead and break this 1569, you have a gap to fill around this 1500. I think that probably is going to go ahead and get filled. So I would set alerts here that if we do go ahead and fill that gap, come on down, baby. Come on down to 1500. And then after that, your next level after 1500, if 1500 cracks, to me is about 1436. You obviously have already had earnings here on earlier in June. So you can expect earnings again here in a few months, but that's what I've got. And it looks like the split date is on the 15th of July, 10-1, like Gregory mentioned. I'll take a look at Sony. I don't even know what to think of Sony. Sorry, I spaced out thinking about the ads and stuff. My bad. I don't know how to trade this. I'm not gonna lie to you. This stock is just hippity hop, skippity hop, just everywhere. I don't know how to trade this. I can't even pretend. All I can tell you is $100. 101 is resistance, so you can kind of see that there. That would have been a beautiful short. Again, just because of the whole number and because you saw previous resistance if you looked left. But outside of that, I do not know how to trade this stock. I mean, just look at the way it gaps. It looks like a puppy's droppings. You know what I mean? On the sidewalk. I don't know. Sorry for the bad image, but it's what I see. Uh-oh. 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 Should I have been patient? See, what's funny is I don't even want to wait 4 minutes. Can I just get into the trade now? But no, I will practice patience. Or will I? I won't. Will I? I don't know. Ah! We can go here. All right, this is a weird. I don't like this. What's happening? Thank you. I'd much rather have that. I want this to be a 1-to-1 trade. I want to get out around VWAP. So let me see where that would be for me. If that's my stop loss. Oh, perfect. Look at that. I eyeballed that perfectly. I'm a dog. Except, I lost $700 in front of y'all, and I might lose some more. But I do believe that's right before VWAP. Yep. It's well before VWAP. All right. All right, chat. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. Again, make sure you, if you'd like to, not make sure, you can if you want to. Follow me on Twitter. I do plan on launching by the end of July a newsletter and maybe another Twitter account just simply for trading because my current one is about esports and random stuff. But I want to do like maybe a every 2 days updates on my positions and what I really want to do is have like a Google Sheets that will have my positions, right? Because look, if I'm a terrible trader, I don't care if you guys know, you know what I mean? Because I want to trade and it helps me maybe have some accountability and kind of take trading a little bit more seriously, even if I have less time. So I plan on maybe having a Google Sheets that has, hey, here's a trade, here's why I took it, here's my entry, here's my stop loss, here's my progress. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, appreciate you guys for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow. And again, don't forget, you'll have pre-market prep tomorrow, 8 o'clock. You'll have live trading with Ryan and 13 from 9 to 11. And at 11 o'clock, I will be back and we will do a webinar with Vino Vest, which is a company that is in the whiskey space. So if you're interested in that and kind of finding different ways to invest your money, or you just want to learn more about the process of whiskey, I didn't really know about it. I learned some cool things. So even if you don't know if you want to invest in it, if you just want to hear what the process is like and get some insights, that would be cool. You can hang out with me tomorrow. And we've also got some cool startups that we're working with to bring them on. We've got some educational content that we're working with. We've got a trading competition and a new show because a broker is doing some cool stuff and we want to be a part of that and they want us to be a part of it as well. So some exciting things. Earnings season's coming up. We'll have some earnings plays as well that I can tease. Shout out to Sammy Abusad for that. But that's my rant. My voice is getting deeper and that means I need to go get some water. See you guys.